Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto x Yang Xiao Long rwby. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by BLAZERAPTOR54 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Season 1. A Foxy Dance Room. Updated. Yang Xiao Long loved her motorcycle, Bumblebee. She was currently traveling down Vale City's many highways. Her motorcycle roaring while she dodged traffic, her long blonde hair waved out of the back her helmet. She popped a wheelie past two cars, flicking off one that almost cut her off. She got off an exit near downtown and parked her bike outside a bar. She wandered inside, removing her helmet. Her tracksuit formed to her very, which made head turns. That was always a good feeling to her. She knew she was beautiful and she was used to using it. Sitting at the counter, she placed an order, one vacuum lava flow, hold the pineapple slice, and one of those tiny umbrellas. The bartender, a girl in a red one-piece dress with a short skirt smiled, her bright green eyes flickered to life. She began making Yang's drink, ID. "Come on," Yang chuckled in reply, "you know me, Milsha." Milsha rolled her eyes, pouring in the rum, "Yang, it's policy. Dealing weapons out the back policy too," Yang states with a raised eyebrow. Milsha hummed, pursing her lips, "Good point. Look, Milsha, I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass. I'm just trying to find out some information about my deadbeat mom." Yang continued pressing as she watched Milsha make her drink. Milsha sighs as she got halfway done, "Yang Jr. is in a bad mood today. I'm just trying to tell you, former friend to bitch." "Ooh, scathing," the bombshell blonde teased while seeing the umbrella getting pulled out. "I'm sorry you fell that way though." The brunette finished Yang's drink, sliding it over to her. She sipped it out of a straw, the sweet tang of the alcohol and fruits. She sighed in contentment, looking at Junior's dance floor being packed full. People danced, shadowed by the bright neon lights, and she heard someone take a seat next to her. A soft-spoken filled air as he placed an order. Yang turned around, noting Milsha eyeing someone walking into the bar. "Oh shit," Milsha sighed aloud as she turned to Junior. Junior was busy talking to some women who walked away from him. He took a long drink of his Patch Island iced tea. Grumbling, Milsha turned to the newcomer. He was walking up to the blonde and probably wanted to have a word or two with Junior. She loaded the shotgun under the counter, making sure her melee weapons were ready as well. "One orange creamsicle cocktail," a blonde fox Fronis orders while facing away from Yang. He wore a black jacket and its long sleeves covered his arms except the right hand which was bandaged. Embroidered on the jacket's back was a red swirl symbol. His orange track pants underneath the table held pouches on both hips. They jingled a little when he sat down, indicating some type of metal tools in them. Which put Yang on edge a little bit, but she relaxed when her lips took in some more of her drink. Milsha huffs, getting the ingredients, "Junior banned you from the bar because of you confronting him last year." "BFFT, the blonde fox Fronis blew raspberries as a retort and I told him not to come into my mom's raiment shop while I was away, I guess we're almost even." "Touche you little prick," the large man behind both him and Yang stated. "You're lucky I'm sold out tonight, unlike that little eater your bitch of a mother owns." Yang knew it was Junior, the owner of the bar. His black eyes glared down at the fox Fronis and black hair sweaty along with his brows. The azure eyes of the fox Fronis held his gaze for a moment, they then retreated to his drink. The blonde boy reached over, taking a sip of his cocktail. He hummed, smiling toward Milsha. She expected the fox Fronis to react, instead he continues to finish his drink. "Well, little boy, got anything to say?" Junior growled his question. How have you been, Blondie?" Milsha intervened, just trying to disarm the situation at hand. "But as always, Milsha, how's Melanie?" the blonde asked the bartender, ignoring Junior. Junior growls a little, turning the blonde around who was still sipping his cocktail. "You are ignoring me, you little shit." The blonde Fronis smiled and replies with raised glass, "Nah, just living la vida loca. Besides, the only thing little here is what is between your legs." Yang couldn't help but chuckle at that. She saw Junior just turn beet red. He gripped his glass, which shattered in his grip, his pale yellow aura protecting his skin. He bent down, getting eye level with the blonde. Blondie just continued drinking his drink, swishing it around to mix the batch a little bit more each time. "Okay, gentlemen, can we please just get along here?" Milsha begged while looking between Blondie and Junior. "You're lucky that your mother owns my favorite restaurant," Junior hissed at the blonde before smugly sneering. "Because I would beat you into the ground. Perhaps I'll pay her a visit after service tonight and give her some after service attention." The blonde boy paused for a moment, Milsha looked at Junior mouth agape. Her boss must be drunk because he normally wouldn't make such a threat. Even Yang had gripped her glass a little hard enough to give a small crack. The Fronis nodded his head, pursing his lips as he tilted his head back. He finished his drink in one go, giving a forced sigh of contentment. He looked toward Yang, smiling a little. For whatever reason Yang's cheeks heated up, must have been the room. She just waves at him a little, sup. Hey Lilac, the blonde called her as he turned to face Milsha who was already reaching under the bar. You might wanna duck. Junior was about to yell at him again when he spun around. The glass from his cocktail drink mashed right into Junior's cheek, exploding into shard of sharp glass. Junior's skin flickered with pale yellow light, absorbing some of the worst damage. Yet, the force of the impact sent him flying back. Yang ducked as Milsha rose up with a shotgun in her hand, but found that the hostile patron was not in his seat. Instead, he was in the air, and he then kicks her hard enough to send her flying into the liquor cabinet. He backflipped out of from behind the bar. Appreciate the warning, friend. I give that backflip a 7 out of 10, Yang commented while raising her glass up. Blonde looked at her, rubbing the back of his head, well thanks, always aiming to please. People not involved in the fight began to run out of the bar. Men armed with submachine guns and rifles ran into the room. Yang sighs, so much for getting information tonight, hang I'm getting up. The blonde fox Frona smiles and winked at her, his fox ears standing up, okay these are fair odds, and you can keep sitting down Lilac. I got this. Submachine guns opened up as the blonde grabbed a table, using it as a shield as moved over to another flat top. Flipping forward, he grabbed the flat top with one hand, slamming it over toward a balcony where the shooters were firing from. The black-suited men screamed out as they got hit by the table, which knocked them into a back room. The teen laughed as the rifles barked from the hands of people near the DJ booth. Using the same table, he charged forward, charging through the group of rifle wielders. He threw the table away, giving the first recovering gunman a right hook that knocked him out. He jumped up, delivering a split kick into two more getting up, while flipping forward to deliver an axe kick into another. This all happened in one sequence of moves and ended with him handstanding on the last gunman that had a rifle. The man was about to try something when the faunus just pushed himself forward, falling behind the man. As the gunman tried to turn around, a back elbow from the blonde knocked him onto the dance floor. The DJ was cowering behind his setup, the blonde faunus walked over to him. He got his scroll out, grabbing an USB cable from the DJ table. Whistling, he opened a folder titled Fighting Music. The speakers in the club blasted with bass, rock and roll blaring over the radios. The blonde flexed his shoulders and then watched the DJ going for a knife. Rolling his eyes, he brought down a powerful haymaker that knocked the man out. He took the knife out the DJ's limp hand. Tossing it into the air, catching it by the blade, he threw it hard. It sailed through the air, hitting the hand of Junior's men, pinning him to the wall. The man wailed to anyone pull the knife out. Blondie still saw Lilac sitting there, her legs propped up on the seat next to her. She raised her glass up in the air, bullseye. He grabbed a mic as several men with swords walked into the dance floor. Talking plainly into the mic as Rip You to Pieces by Divine Music played into the hi-fis, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's special is a bar fight brought by yours truly, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, because some big dumbus punk wants to threaten my mother. Well let's get ready to rumble. Naruto, the blonde Franus, screamed into the mic like an announce before fastballing it into the first charging swordsman. The swordman's sword flew into the air, Naruto flipped off the stage, catching it mid-flight. He landed with a downward slash that broke two other swords that were heading for him. He crouched, delivering a sweeping kick that sent the two offenders into the air before he delivers a double drop kick that sent them flying backwards. Landing on his empty left hand, he shot himself back up with a kick aimed straight at a fourth swordsman. He then turned around, slinging the sword that sailed right in between Junior's leg. The man screeched like a girl, perhaps even wetting his pants. He watched as two more swordmen attempted to slash at Naruto, who merely slid on his knees under them. Hopping up, Naruto delivered a twin back kick which sent them flying into the DJ booth. The music turning over to bunch of electronica. He heard the door upstairs crash open as a young woman dressed in white dress came down the stairs. He rolled his eyes, grabbing one of the swords off the ground. Milsha got up, holding a bottle of vodka in her hand before taking a swig out of it. She looked at Yang and yells out at her, aren't you going to help? Sure, Yang cheerfully said while picking up her drink, using the sleeve of her tracksuit to dry up condensation on the bar table. Yep, that's a good shiner. Milsha cusses out loud hopping over the bar, daughter of a bitch. Yang didn't even retort, simply raising her glass in acknowledgement. The long black blades with red edgings scraped against each other. Milsha was joined by a girl with a short white dress that looked the same as her. She had on long heel shoes on that ended in blades on the stilts. Naruto crossed his arms, eyeing them as if they were questioning if they were serious. Milsha and Melanie sighed, readying themselves. It made him nod with a pursed lip. For what it's worth, ladies, I'm going to miss the drinks here. However, you even have to admit that it was little too scummy for Junior to say that. Naruto says to them while dropping into a fighting stance. Milsha answered first, well it was fun knowing you, I'll tell Kushina you went down fighting. Yes, we'll pour out a tequila sunrise on your grave. Melanie states while walking with her sister in unison. Rolling his eyes, Naruto held his arms out as he walked toward them, that's why I liked Milsha taking my drink orders. Never carded me, never messed them up. Bastard, Melanie cursed at him before dashing for with a flying kick. He deflected the flying kick with ease. Spinning on his heel, aiming at Milsha's arm, she backstepped as the machete grazed her. Her aura sparked to life, blocking most of the damage save a tiny scratch. His response was to simply reverse grip the machete and stab at her while dodging Melanie's kicks. One of those kicks connected, which sent stumbling back, dropping the machete. He brushed off his side, popping his neck. Both sisters charged at him, running as fast as they can. Naruto dodged to the side, grabbing a fallen sword to block several slashes from Milsha. He held at a distance while backing up toward Melanie, who attempted to deliver a deadly sidekick into ribsage with her blades. He smirked, dodging by jumping upwards and backflipping behind her. Grabbing a second sword on his landing, he deflected both twin sisters' combined attacks with ease. The two sisters' slashes, stabbed, and struck with their weapons as he used both of the machete swords he picked up to block them. He pushes forward, forcing them back while simultaneously blocking and slashing with the machetes. Spinning them in his hand, orange aura flowed off them, creating a light streak with each spin. The girls' weapons gained the same appearance as the dance floor turned black. The high-speed clashing sent sparks out as if they were shooting stars. Getting the upper hand, he then slashes both swords out, catching both girls by surprise and knocking them back. They recovered, charging back into the fight. Sparks flew off into the dance floor as they dueled. He surprised them by doing the splits to dodge a combined high attack aimed for his head. Spinning on the floor, holding the blades on his feet somehow, Naruto slashed their high heels apart near to the heel. They both fell backwards, surprised and shocked by the speed of his counterattack. I thought you were a fucking ramen cook, Eep. Milsha screeched at him before yelping as a machete stabbed down next her head along with her sisters. Naruto smiled as he glared into both of their eyes and then he softly says, the best damn ramen chief you'll ever meet princesses. What you get for assuming. He started to walk away but then stopped and asks them a simple question. Are we good? Milsha and Melanie answers at same time, out of breath from fear. Yep, we're cool, no problems here. He walked over to his scroll, getting it from the DJ booth. He folded back into his pocket as the DJ's playlist came back on. The bass blasted with hi-fi stereo playing some rap song about shots and drinks. He strode over to Junior, who was still breathlessly posted on the wall with a sword between his legs. Naruto smirked, his fox ears still standing upright. So Junior, are you going to harass my mother anymore? Naruto inquired while glaring at him, raising an eyebrow to emphasize the question. Because all I have to do is angle the sucker up and there'll be no more fun in your life. Junior shakenly replies, no sir, she's off limits sir, please just get the out of my bar sir. That's what I thought, by the way you smell like piss, clean yourself up. Naruto insulted Junior, grabbing a rag from the bar and throwing it to him. Oh, and Junior, since you are going to stay away from mother do me a solid and don't ever let me catch in my sight again. The big man, with dirty beard, just started whimpering a little. He awkwardly walked over the sword, trying not to slash his family jewels on it. Every minor touch sent him into a whimpering mess. Meanwhile, he saw that Yang was walking over to him. She looked at him almost seductively before grabbing the hilt of the sword. Need some help there, buddy? Because I notice something sticking out from there and doesn't look too comfortable. She cooed while holding the hilt of the blade. Junior nodded slowly, okay, just do it. Before he could finish, Yang yanks the sword from between his legs. Junior screams out in a panic, breathing hard as he brought his hands down below to shield the jewels. He did a quick check, finding that they were still there, and then he glares up at the lilac-eyed girl. Don't fucking do that. He yelled at the top of his lungs as he shook, that's it, no more blondes in my bar. Okay, well Junior, I'm not with him. So, unless you want a separate ass kicking, I'm going to need some information on her, Yang demanded of him, holding up a photograph of a woman. Junior whimpers before he answered her question, she came in last week, grabbing a shipment, she's probably already back in Mistral. Well thank you, Yang cheerful replied before punching him hard down below. Thought you were owed that with the comment you made earlier. Sinking to his knees, heaving, and nearly vomiting on the floor, Junior cries out, why? Yang walked out of the doors, finding that the blonde Francis was gone. She was genuinely surprised when he came roaring past her on a red motorbike. Screeching down the street, she watched as the light trail from his brakes disappeared around a corner. For whatever reason she felt her heart flutter, something about it was something she found sensational. She bit her lip whole walking her way toward her motorbike. She got on it, deciding that she'd try to follow behind him. Starting up her bike, she suddenly heard a ringtone from her scroll. She growled in frustration, thinking it was her dad. She opened her scroll, and in fact it was family, but not her dad. Her younger sister's name and picture displayed on the device. She swiped it open. "Yo Rubes, did you get that CD you want?" Yang greeted her sister over the call. "Yang, something happened and I sort of got arrested," Ruby told her sister while sounding nervous. Yang snorts in laughter. "Haha, very funny, Ruby, you wouldn't have your scroll if you got arrested." "Yang, I'm serious, I used crescent rows in the city limits, I'm getting charged with a felony." Ruby panicked to her sister. The lilac-eyed teenager sighs, "I'll go call dad so he can post bail, do not admit to anything." "Yang, the headmaster of Beacon Academy is here," Ruby said to her as she heard a door opening in the background. "I got to go sis, love you." "Love you too short stack," Yang sighed as she heard the dull tone of the call getting disconnect. She then scrolled to her dad's picture and pressed on it. "Come on, pick up old man, pick up." "Hello there, sweetheart." She heard over the call, "How's my favorite rebellious daughter doing tonight?" "Dad, don't flip out, but Ruby is in jail." Yang told their dad, "You might want to call Vale PD and see how much her bail is." She heard laughter, following by her dad saying, "There's no way my sweet little Rose got arrested for anything." "Dad, she's getting charged with a felony, call them." Yang replied nervously with twitch in her face and prepared herself. "She's getting charged with a what?" He screamed into the phone and then she hears his panic breathing. "Oh, my poor little girl, my baby, did she finally snap on that one kid picking on her?" But you both know that Ruby never rose to the level of potential murder, she can't even hunt without feeling sorry for anything downrange. Yang flatly commented on her father's panic reactions. Unless a Grimm suddenly gained rights. In case she may just headline the HFA. "How can you make a pun at a time like this? Your sister is in jail, I'm call them now. Can you go over there and pick them up?" Her father asked her, while asking if she could pick up her sister. Yang sighs, "Sure, I got her, love you dad." "Thank you, my sunflower," her father thanked her before hanging up. The little red-eyed girl was wiping down a table as she heard a roaring motor from outside the store. She heard the ringing of a bell on the door as it opened. Walking in was someone wearing a helmet with red eyes on the visor. The young man wearing the helmet put his hands under it, pushing up, he removed it. She smiles brightly and runs over to him. "Big brother." She screamed with joy, smacking herself against him, "Welcome back." Naruto smiles, placing his helmet on a table, he asks his sister, "Where's mom?" "She's running finances for the store, we were extra busy today, how was Atlas's academy?" She excitedly inquires, hopping on top her brother's shoulders. Naruto grunts a little, "Geez Akahana, what's mom been feeding you Dadabeo?" "I know for a fact you're not implying that your sister gained a lot of weight, Dadabane," a woman stated loudly as she entered the main dining room. She was fair-skinned, much like her daughter, with crimson hair that went down her back. Her violet eyes shined in the light and the mini version of her was on top of her son's shoulders. Both of them had 3 whisker birthmarks on each cheek. She smiled as Akahana rode his shoulders as he walked over to her. She wrapped him in a hug, holding him tightly. "Ooh, I've missed you. I heard you passed with top marks at Atlas's prep academy." She praised him while hugging him, they broke the hug soon afterwards. Naruto sheepishly grins and replies, "I survived at Lash and Culture, the top grades was a plus. Professor Moon told me over a call that you kind of got into a fight, are you okay?" His mother questioned, looking him over. Naruto giggles a little bit, sweating a bit as well, "Let's just say that I didn't let someone mess with me." She laughs, patting his shoulder, "That's my boy." Her eyes widens when she smells his breath, recoiling a little bit, "Have you been drinking?" "Let's just say that I heard it from it a little bird that someone was messing with you." Naruto then crossed his arms and said, "He's not coming back around, ever again." "You didn't kill him, did you?" She questioned him nervously. Naruto shook his head, gritting his teeth, "I wanted to a little bit. However, I settled with him peeing his pants in fear. Wish I could have seen it, if I wasn't so out of practice, I would have handled him myself." His mother replied with an arm pump, she then smiled brightly, "You must be hungry son, come on I'll make you something to eat." Naruto walked over a table, letting his sister hop of his shoulders. She sat in front of him in a booth, both heard their mother clattering pots in the background. She looked at her, brother smiling brightly, her fox ears standing straight up as well. Naruto smiled back, looking over toward a family photograph where they were standing with his father. He was a spitting image of his father, minus the whisker birthmarks. Naruto and Akahana inherited his frontis trait, the fox ears. Kushina was holding Akahana as a baby, while Naruto barely came up to his father's waist. She frowns at her brother, getting his attention, "Naru, what was dad like? I know mom talks about him, but you never do." "Dad was the kindest man in the room, I once saw him give a homeless man half earnings one day. He was a huntsman, he always told us that if we're not giving back to the community, what would be the point? He loved you very much sis, you were his darling little red flower. Naruto revealed to his sister about their dad and she smiled a little. She gives a sad smile and lays her head on the table, I wish could have met him when I could start remember him. Me too kid, Naruto replied while rubbing her hair, but he's looking down on us. She nodded with a smile, watching as their mother walked in a large bowl of miso ramen. She took a seat next to her daughter, watching as her son's mouth watered. Handing Akahana a bowl of her own to share, both as Naruto finished praying over his food and dug into it. He moaned in pure joy and slurped noodles much like his mother and sister did. The family trio finished around the same time, but unlike his mother and sister, Naruto threw his head back to swallow the broth. Gulping it down in huge greedy swallows. He burped when he finished, much to his mother's grimace. Please tell me you didn't eat like that while in Atlas, she pleaded with her son, while lightly annoyed by his burp. Naruto smiled brightly and states, of course screw them pompous big wigs. His mother smacks his head from across the table, language young man. Ouch, I'm sorry, sheesh. Naruto protested a little while rubbing the small stingy bump on his head, thought you were out of practice, mom. Oh, when it comes from my huntress days, yes, I am. However, these hands are still rated for everyone with a foul tongue, his mother told him. Did you meet anyone at the prep academy in Atlas? Naruto blushed a little bit and reveals to her, there was this girl, Ilia, she helped me adjust to school. Life. Ooh, is she by chance you know his mother put her fingers together in front of her, but when he looked confused, she questions him loudly with excitement. Am I going to be grandmother, spit out, come on details. What no, Ilia isn't the type to swing my way anyway. She was like an older sister to me though, Naruto answered while blushing madly. She ended up dropping out though. His mother frowns and then asks him, why? She was hiding the fact that she was a faunus, I never hid it, I mean forget them if they can't see past these. Naruto answered while rubbing his fox ears, but her parents worked in the mines in Mantle and died in an accident. She took it hard and left. You okay, son? She questioned him lightly, holding his hand. Licking his lips, Naruto felt his heart grow heavy, I blame myself for not helping as much as I could have mom like with you and dad. What does he mean mama, Akahana inquired while looking at her brother. His mother smiles warmly, holding his hand with both of hers, and comforts him. Nothing you did was the wrong thing, Naruto, we all express sadness differently. Yeah I know, Naruto concedes as he placed his free hand on hers. I do have some good news, guess what I might have coming. His mother purses her lips and guesses, an acceptance letter to Shade Academy. Nope, Naruto corrected as he smiled brightly, try maybe a letter from Beacon. Beacon? Kushina yelled out as she smiled, you mean you got accepted into Beacon Academy? Yep. Naruto smiled brightly as confirmed her exclamation. Well maybe, I should be hearing back here soon. Hopefully. Kushina sighed while watching Akahana drink the broth. Well, we're about close-up shop, you mind giving your sister a lift on the motorbike? Yeah, I don't mind mom, you still taking me all reliable? Naruto inquired while getting up. Akahana then points out something, Naru where is my helm? Naruto places his helmet on top of her head, chuckling, right there since I got an aura, I'll be fine. No joy riding, just straight to the apartment. Kushina called out from kitchen where she had taken their dirty dishes. Mom. Akahana bemoaned with a whine. Naruto simply smirked, turned his head, and winked at his sister. The engine roared on Naruto's motorcycle as it sped down a highway. Akahana was strapped to him, wearing his helmet. She cheered as he popped up with a wheelie, revving his engine. He sped up, easily going past the speed limit, with a song called Born to be Wild blaring on his speakers. Akahana had taken control of her brother's scroll. Woohoo. She whooped as they blasted past a semi-truck. The limousine was driving out of incoming ramp, with Naruto avoiding it with a smile on his face. The blonde teen cheered himself as they went downhill from a ramp. Akahana giggled as the wind vibrated her, she held her hands up, laughing with joy. The red motorcycle, with blue trimmings, was like a blur to most other drivers on the road. Naruto got onto an exit, popping a front wheelie for a moment which made his whoop into the air. There was a reason she was strapped down with him, and as the engine calmed down on his motorcycle, he pulled into a road with many apartments. These tall buildings housed hundreds, if not thousands of different people. They took up entire blocks, but Naruto drove past them, instead focusing on one of the smaller ones. He pulled into a parking spot, parallel parking to the curb. He put the kickstand down, unstrapping Akahana, and got off. In front of their bike was an old Charger 56 Phoenix Bird. It had some rust spots, but Naruto knew he was walking into a tongue lashing since their mother beat them there. Akahana gave a rambunctiously cheer before yawning. Naruto scooped up the girl, carrying her up the flight of steps that led to the elevator. He put her on top of his shoulders and watched as the elevator opened up. That was awesome Naru. She declared while smiling brightly, can I get a bike for my 9th birthday? Naruto laughed a little, we'll see, but I'll have to take you remote places to drive at Databayo. Oh, but why? She whined a little, crossing her arms like the petulant child she pretended to be. Naruto merely points something out to her, the law says so. You broke about 5 different laws on that road, Dadakane. She complained and then crosses her arms, you're just scared that I'll be a better rider. Naruto couldn't help but laugh, PFFT easy there, tigress. She got to their door, knocking on it. Their mother answered it, hands on her hips while glaring at Naruto. Her eyes fell onto her daughter, looking at her messed up hair that spilled out from her helmet. She gently lifted it off her face, a small smile plastered the girl's face. She rolled her eyes, ushering them both inside. The girl was carried into her room by Naruto, set into her bed. The poor girl was exhausted and wasn't even a few moments after hitting the bed she fell asleep. Naruto walks out of the room, closing her door, she's wanting her own bike now. Oh great, another hooligan in our family. Kushina huffed with a small smile. Naruto noticed something, walking into the living room. He saw that his mother had set up mainly pictures of them. There was one photo of their father, which was sitting by the main TV. It was specifically the picture of the first time Naruto's father had gone through chemotherapy. He was holding baby Akahana, with Naruto smiling right next to him on the hospital bed. His mother was closer to the camera because she had taken the photo. Hey mom, Naruto called out as he turns to face his mother. Where is the rest of dad's photos? She bit her lip and then sighs, Naruto I put them up save for this photo and our wedding photo. But I don't get it, Naruto was slightly confused, why? Kushina sat on the couch, I'm trying to move on, son your father wouldn't want us to remain miserable remembering him. He'd want us to be happy. And we are happy, Naruto countered as he sat in a lounge chair. Mom, we just can't just put dad in a storage closet somewhere. I'm not doing that, she sighs with frustration. You know darn well I'm not. Last time I was here there was 8 pictures out, Naruto pointed out as he looked into hers. Now I only saw 2 of them. Naruto. No, just stop, I'm sorry, but mom I know it's been 6 years he was cut off when his mother got up from the couch. She came back in, holding a wine glass, Naruto I'm not trying to fully move on. However, the more I see those pictures of him, the more it hurts knowing he isn't here. And it doesn't hurt me? Naruto asked with a raise in his voice. I never said that, and you know that, his mother retorted, taking a drink. Naruto took a deep breath and sighs, I know mom. Sweetheart, she reached her hand over to him, you can tell me everything that happened at Atlas. The blonde took a moment and replies, Ilia was my best friend. I saw something consume her that day she found out her parents died and it stemmed from her pretending not to be a faunus. What did she do to break your heart? Kushina inquired watching as Naruto's eyes soften. The young huntsman in training exasperatedly blew his breath, biting his lips slightly. She told me that I could never understand because I always knew who I wanted to be. That I was always the shining star she couldn't be, but mom if she only knew that I was right there with her. That 1 year I didn't come back home, he continued while looking guilty, it's because I couldn't stand being here without him. The woman handed him the bottle, you're a young man now, drink. Naruto unscrews the top, taking a swig out of it, this tastes like oranges. It's orange wine, Kushina said to her son before sipping her glass. I was hoping to drink with you in celebration tonight. Naruto grimaced as he apologized, I'm sorry mom, I just don't feel accomplished because there's someone else that should be here with us. Kushina bit her lip and agrees with her son, you're right. Naruto stopped her from drinking another sip, he fell into her shoulder. She smiled softly, but then sniffled as they both cried. She held him close, her little boy, she felt him hurting. He came out of her shoulder, sniffling a little. Wiping a tear away from his eye, she pressed her forehead against his. I love you, son, I'm so flipping proud of the man you're becoming. I know you'll put that brave face on when you leave here. Just remember, no matter what, I'm always going to love your father. There's nothing I wouldn't give, short of you too, just for him to be standing in this room with you. Kushina told him while looking into his azure eyes. Go visit his grave when you feel ready, it's how I started to heal. Naruto nods, biting his lip, I will mom. She smiled and then hugs him, come on then, let's share a drink together. Huntress to future huntsman. Ruby was riding the back of Bumblebee. She held her hands around Yang's waist as she careened down the highway. The lilac-eyed blonde was wearing her yellow helmet while Ruby wore a red one. They were both passed by a black motorcycle which sailed down the road. They both looked at each other, sorely tempted to follow, but decided to go for the nearest hotel for the night. Hey, Ruby called out to her sister. Thanks for picking me up sis. Don't mention it Rubes, Yang replied as she got onto an exit. Too bad we can't sleep in our normal beds tonight. By the way, I heard you kick some ass. Yang, her little sister complained a little, language. Yang rolled her eyes from inside the helmet, stopping off at the next exit. Her and Ruby got out. Walking up to the doors of a hotel room, opening them. Ruby jogs over to the desk, ringing the bell. An older man with a balding hairline moved out of a back room. He scratches his scruffy beard, looking at the two of them. "Room for two please, single beds," Yang requested while holding out a card. The man shook his head, "Sorry sweetheart, all out of single beds." "Oh well, it wouldn't be the first time we bunked together, right Yang?" Ruby said while smiling at her sister. The blonde smiles back, "It wouldn't be, we'll take a queen if you got it." "We got one, check-out is at 11 in the morning," the old man told her as he ran her card. "Aren't you worried about the price?" "Not really," Yang replied with a shrug, "me and sis need somewhere to sleep so screw it." "I feel ya," the old man laughed as he handed her card back with the key card to the room. "Enjoy your stay now, ladies, and we do have a waffle maker in the common area for a quick morning breakfast." "Oh, thanks, that sounds awesome." Ruby thanked the old man before walking with her sister. Yang and she got into an elevator. They felt it starting to go upward, with her little silver-eyed sister humming along with the tune. They got off at the 4th floor, walking toward the room with same number as the key card. Scanning it, they walked into a large room with a queen-sized bed in the middle. Yang stretches, yawning while watching Ruby run to the bathroom. "They got towels." Ruby yelled out before Yang heard the shower running. Yang smiles and sits on the bed, she laid back with hands behind her head. She thought about the day and smiles. She thought about today, for some reason she remembered in detail about the guy at the bar. The way he moves, the way he smiles, plus he was a mama's boy. She giggles a little bit at that thought, but she drew a blank on his name. "I think if I meet you again, I'll call you Whiskers," she muttered aloud as she thought about that smile. "My luck I guess, go to the bar to watch other people get hit on." A few minutes went by, with her replaying the images of the bar in her head. She remembered his eyes, azure blue. His hair was a little lighter than hers, brighter, but if she remembered closely enough, he had some red stubble on his chin. Was he wearing hair dye, or was he a genetic freak? Then the weirdest thought popped in her head, what if she had a kid with bright red hair? She blushes at what that would imply her managing to do to get to the point. "I hate having an overactive imagination," she said a little loud before hearing Ruby coming into the room. "Yang," Ruby called her sister's attention. "Why are you complaining about your imagination?" Yang giggles while blushing a little bit, "Let's just say this Ruby, I just saw someone." Oh. Ruby realized before hopping on the bed. "I need deets, all of them." She just laughs before thinking, try peach-colored skin, whiskers on his face. "Honest, okay does he have black hair?" Ruby inquired before laying on pillow by her sister, laying opposite to her on the bed. Yang purses her lips, "Maybe," she pronounces prolonged. The mixed-hair young teen just rolls her eyes, "Oh come on, sis. What about muscles?" "Ruby," Yang eyed her sister, "do you think me and him did the do or something?" "Well, you said you saw someone," Ruby hinted as she blushed a little. "I just could have sworn you mean saw as really saw." "Blah, I'm not that easy, am I? I promised mom that I'd wait, didn't exactly promise on the other stuff." She teased while blushing bright red while having a fleeting thought come to her mind. Ruby thought for a moment, personality. "Well, I wouldn't threaten his mother, he literally ran the fate of an entire armed group at Junior's bar." Yang commented on her sister's question, "But he seems energetic." "Wow, Yang, so he's just like you in a way," Ruby pointed out as she smirked. The blonde was taken aback, "I don't get into fights all the time." "Really?" Ruby eyed her questionably. "Go to sleep, twerp. I gotta go take a shower, I'm exhausted," Yang stated before getting off the bed. "Love you sis." "Love you too, jerk," Ruby playfully retorted while situating herself on the bed. She snuggled herself onto her one pillow and quickly fell asleep. Yang meanwhile was placing her scroll on the bathroom sink, stretching as music began to play. She then kept trying to remember his name, but something about his face was familiar. For some reason, in her heart, she knew this wasn't the first time both of them had met. Abandoning the self-inquiry for later, she turned the shower on and got ready to step in. "So, anyway there's this one weird android girl. Penny, she gets interested at why I'm so short. So, every single year that we see each other she always measures out my height." Naruto laughed out as he took a swig of the drink. Kushina laughs with her son, "I'm pretty sure she just means well. Tell that to the pompous assets I deal with, they swear that we're measuring something else." Naruto told his mother while leaning back on the couch. She just looks at her son, "Son, one of these days you're going to find a girlfriend. That, or a boyfriend." Naruto blushes brightly, "I'm not gay, no offense to anyone, but I don't swing that way." "So," Kushina just looked down as she saw the nearly empty bottle. "Do you think you can help us with Icharaku over the next couple days?" Naruto smiles, holding his fist out, "Sure mom. I love you, kiddo," she replied with a fist bump of her own. "You going to sleep in your room?" Actually, Naruto relaxed into the couch more. I just ready to get some sleep here, I'll get up with you all in the morning. Kushina got up, smiling, okay son. By the way, we got a letter from that white knight investor coming. I know, I'll collect if it's slipped under the door. Naruto reminded her before grabbing a pillow. Night mom, I love you. Love you too, my little huntsman. She stated before walking down the hall. Naruto heard her close the door and then he reaches into his back pocket. He pulls out a second scroll, looking at the emails. He noted that the last deposit balance put him well within the green, and addition his cover was holding firm. He smiled, thinking about his family, and closed the scroll before stuffing it back into his back pocket. Night guys, I love you all too was his last thoughts before sleep claimed him. Roaring sun. Inside of a limousine a well-dressed man sat across an equally well-dressed woman. They both heard a loud motorbike engine roaring past them. The woman caught a glimpse of the operator, a blonde-headed teen with whisker marks on his face. She frowned and looked at her partner. The man sat down his mug, filled with piping hot cocoa. He looked at his associate, smiling. Linda, he said her name with softness befitting a refined gentleman. Is there something the matter? She grabbed a data pad, bringing an image of a blonde with azure eyes up. Holding out to her boss, he took it from her hands. He sipped on cup for a brief moment before resetting his mug back down. It was awkward, yes, but that was some of the best hot cocoa he had in a while. He wanted to savor it while it was still piping hot and not lukewarm. Ah yes, young Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Son of Minato, he said while reading the young man's file. Top marks in hand-to-hand, one of the few people I think trained solely in the art of fisticuffs. Ospin, Glinda pointed out something to her boss, he also has a habit of being in fights. A recording played on the data pad, coming from a bar that just happened tonight. Ospin pursed his lips and had to admit the blonde was indeed a hothead. He wouldn't be the first student with that type of issue to cross his halls. Then came the most surprising part to him, the way he wielded a machete blade. He then checked his file, noting that there was a very big absence in swordsmanship skills. Ospin handed the data pad back to Glinda, listing what he saw and reads. Risk taker, hot-headed, and has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He has exemplary marks, but at the same time, his reprimand list is long. Professor Moon from the Atlassian Prep Academy remarked that he has a clear sense of duty. Sometimes, however, his idea of duty conflicts with proper pursuits. Glinda turned the data pad off. Sounds like a perfect fit for Shade Academy. He does indeed sound like a perfect fit for Shade Academy. Which is why I'm still going to give him a letter, Ospin said to her while sipping hot cocoa. I also saw something of a psychological profile. Yes, apparently stemming from the death of his father. Glinda confirmed for Ospin as she reached down toward her coffee. If you want him, you'll have him. This makes for a very interesting lineup this year. We have someone seeking vengeance that even as a student rivals teachers, a silver-eyed girl, a blonde prodigy, someone who can paint things to life, and we're on our way to meet someone girl in human strength. Ospin listed as he felt a bump in the road. So, when do you want to meet Namikaze? I can schedule him in behind Icharaku. End of episode 1. Chapter 2. Season 1. Icharaku Troubles. Updated. Kushina Namikaze watches as her son slept on the couch. It had been a few hours since they drank. She had just woken up from a nap and was just walking around the apartment. She walked into her daughter's room to check in on her. She was fast asleep, which made her smile. The excitement of the workday and seeing her brother tuckered her out cold for the night. She yawns herself, popping her neck, and walked into her bedroom. She walks over to her desk, getting out some financial paperwork. She reads that someone had been adding funds into their business account under the name Icharaku. Icharaku has been a white knight investor for the last 2 years for her restaurant. She couldn't bring in Naruto because of his workload and Akahana was too young. 2 years ago, they had faced bankruptcy and if it hadn't been for Icharaku they'd lost it all. The only information she could get on this Icharaku was that they were a young man. Said young man was an artist who would sell his paintings for relatively cheap prices. She got curious one day because Naruto at the time was too young to own a bank account by his own free will. Of course, she checked and discovered nothing except the money he made doing odd jobs around the school he was in. Akahana naturally didn't fit, she wasn't an artist, but she was a talented musician in the making. She smiled, looking at the photo of her restaurant, Icharaku. I can't believe I almost lost our dream, Minato she bemoaned to herself while reaching up, stroking a small photograph of him cooking. I miss you so damn much, baby, I wish you just could walk through that door. She found herself crying a little, folding her hands in prayer, you should see our children. One's a hooligan with a heart of gold and our daughter is the ever law-abiding munchkin. Hard to believe we made copies of each other, Dadabane. She thought while stroking his face, remembering that day nearly 17 years ago. Order up honey. Minato called out to his wife, who came and grabbed the 3 large miso ramen bowls. She smiles, winking at him, already ahead of you, dear. It's why I love you, Minato laughed as he continued preparing dishes. Next year I will retire fully and hang up my blade. She smiles as she served the customer in front of her, a man with silver hair and green-tinted glasses. He smiled, thanking her for the meal. Kushina went into the back of the kitchen, pressing herself against Minato's back. Kissing his neck, she nuzzled up into his neck. He reaches behind him, feeling her stomach which was hard. He leaned back, kissing her and then looked into her violet eyes. "And wait to meet him," Minato said to her as he finished a bowl for her. "I want to name him something unique." Kushina chuckles as she took the bowl, won't people find it weird? Considering the old king made the color naming rule to begin with. The FFT screw the old king's suggestion, I want my son to stand out, Minato replied with bravado and fire in his eyes. I think I'll name him Menma. Kushina busts out laughing, patting her husband's back, honey that's still following the rule you want to break, Menma is Old Mistralian for fermented bamboo. Okay, what about Arashi? Minato inquired as he watched her take some of the ramen into her mouth. She noted the swirl in the fish cake, the orange line going round and round. She then smiled at him softly, plucking it out of the bowl. She then says, yellow and red makes orange, plus we're always swirling together in this life. And Narutomaki, he'd be our little fish cake. Minato realized as he smiled softly at her, raising a hand to her stuffed cheek with the fish cake now in his hand. Fine then, let's name him Naruto. She plucks the fish cake from his hand, eating it. He laughed a little, kissing her forehead as she went back to eating. Watching him finish another order, walking out to a customer. The woman rubbed her stomach, lowered her head. In 8 months, they'd have a new addition to their family. Watching as her husband served a front his family, she noted that the silver-haired man was looking at her. She smiles and begins to get back to work. She stops stroking her finger on the picture. Leaning over the desk, she kisses it. Getting up from the chair she walked over to their large walk-in closet. Opening it up she found her husband's weapon and then she pulls it out of the cloth. The sword, a small katana, shined in the dimmed light with a small orange blade. The blade had slots in it for dust, she checked it making sure that it wasn't loaded. It had an inscription in the hilt, Old Mistralian, she then softly speaks the engraving, Hine Shita Sekai Oseru, leave a prosperous world. She held the blade reverently, remembering how he used that very sword to save her life. The orange blade seemingly glowed in his hands, as if he commanded it by forces other than aura. She took a deep breath and then spoke its name with reverence. Ajitsunameru, she whispered as she held it up and then rubs her hand along the blade. The dark silver blade lit up a little along the sharp edge, revealing a bright orange color. A fiery aura emerged from it, swirled by a green color. She held her hand on it, remember feeling this blade in her hand on more than one occasion. Her bow, red flower, laid in the same closet. Her face of small joy fades when she realistically slung it to her side. The power of the sword deactivating and sheathes back into the scabbard with a click. For my blade is not one of anger, but one of protection. May it strike true, may it accomplish its goals, and may it rest when the task is done. She prayed in her head before placing the sword back on its cloth. She gathers her thoughts, wrapping it back up. Kushina slowly walks from her room into the living room, reaching into a secret compartment in their TV stand. It was a letter Minato wrote for Naruto for when he graduated into a huntsman academy. She looked at her son, smiling softly before placing the letter back in the compartment. She knew he was in turmoil, given all his losses, and with a click the compartment closed. Holding her late husband's sword, Kushina walked over toward the table. Naruto, she called silently to him. The blonde fox Franus woke up, looking up at her, hey mom, what's up? I got something for you, Kushina knelt down on both of her knees to be eye level with her son. I made a promise to your father, for when you graduated. He eyes the wrapped object in hands, he held his hands out, mom. As of tonight, my son, you continue the lineage of the Namikas and wield one of 2 of our weapons. This was your father's katana and his father's before him, and so on. Your father talked day and night while I carried about giving it to you. Kushina told her son while gifting him the katana. Naruto unwrapped the katana, looking at it with realization dawning on him. This was the katana his father wielded in one of his old huntsman photos. He slowly began to cry as he reverently pulled the blade a little from the scabbard. He noted the engravings and then looked at his mother who was crying too. He put the sword back into the scabbard, smiling a little. So, Dad wanted me to have sword, Naruto said while holding it tightly. I guess Akahana is going to get your bow. That's the plan, Naruto, do you remember our family's oath? Kushina inquired from her son while watching him smile. Of course I do, Naruto answered before taking a deep breath. Leave behind a prosperous world, better than you arrived at all costs, shine brightly, move brilliantly, hold the sun in your hand. Kushina nods and smiles brightly, you know it verbatim, Dadabane. Naruto smiles as equally bright and laughs, Dad used to drill it into me all the time, Dadabeo. He places the sword in his lap. I promise mom, I'll do my best to honor dad. It's not him have to honor, Naruto, it's yourself. Kushina told him while putting her finger on his chest. You know what's right from wrong right here, as long as you listen to it Kajutsu Numeru will be your blade. Naruto sat the sword on the coffee table, next to the bottle of orange wine. He got up and stretching as he looks at the time on the wall. Holy crap, it's really almost 6 in the morning. Kushina sighs and got up from her knees, yeah, which means I'll have to go to the restaurant to get ready for morning service. I can help you out, Naruto offered as he picked up his new sword. I might be rusty, but I can still cook a mean tonkatsu. She walks towards Akahana's room, knocking on her door, sweetie, I need you get up. Naruto frowns as he heard Akahana getting up, watching the door open. She came out wearing a pink onisi in the form of a rabbit. Her violet eyes looked groggy, and she yawns while stretching. He chuckles when she scratched her backside, making their mother cringe a little. She walked toward the laundry room, grabbing a small work uniform. Akahana looked at them and asks, can I ride with Naru again? Sure, Kushina allowed her while getting a green apron from a nearby hanger. Naruto, do you want any clothing? I'll take a t-shirt, Naruto told his mother while grabbing the keys to his motorcycle. Aka, are you ready? She ran out in a miniature version of their mother's uniform, smiling as she launched herself onto his back. Rolling his eyes, he sighed with satisfaction while walking toward the door. He held a key up to his mother and she smiled. Her son still kept a key to the shop and he waved before exiting the door with his sister in tow. Kushina held a hand over her heart, drive safely. The screeching of Naruto's motorcycle filled the empty highway. Beautiful Life played over the speakers as Akahana sung to it, which surprised him as she hit every single note almost perfectly. The blonde looked up into the sky, seeing the morning sun started to peek at the horizon. The sky switching from their navy blue to light blue with a mixing of oranges, reds, and yellows. Akahana, who was wearing her helmet with her visor up, kept singing along to the song. The young man revved his engine as he saw the fuel gauge, noting that he'd have to get fuel before the end of the day. She screamed out the final part of the song and then took a deep breath. Naruto laughs as he steers the bike into another lane to avoid the only car on the highway. His scroll automatically played the next song in his playlist titled Aka's Favs, which was a movie song from Tar. She waved her head back and forth as she held onto him. Smiling to himself, Naruto remembered what waited for him back at the apartment. His father's sword, which rested comfortably on the coffee table. The duo whooped in excitement as he popped a wheelie, and Akahana laughed that beautiful childhood laugh he remembered having last year. His motorcycle toned down as he took an exit. Both of them rolled down the road as Naruto got a call on his scroll. It was a number that made his eyes widen a little bit. Who is it, Naru? Akahana questioned while peering over his shoulder. He hid the scroll, ending the call, no one Akahana, scam likely. Oh, darn them, they keep calling my scroll too. I hate how they insist on me needing car insurance, like hello, I'm 8. She frustratingly told her brother with a slight chuckle. Naruto pulled over to a parallel parking spot, taking the key out of the bike. He put down the kickstand, stretching when he got off. He got his helmet from Akahana, who made it to the door. They had beaten their mom there. He tossed her his keys, which caught with ease. Opening up the ramen shop Icharaku, she stepped inside. Nodding to himself, Naruto grabbed his scroll, going to his call logs. He swiped right on the last call, listening to the dial tone. Finally, a man picked up, his voice was coarse and sounded of a slur. He knew that voice very well and he sighed, deleting the number. He stopped walking when someone stood in front of him, he had a knife in his hand. He had it held out, his veiny arms shaking as he shook with the knife being held up. He took a deep breath, can I help you? Your money, now, I want it now. The robber demanded while holding his knife out towards Naruto's chest. The fox Frontis took a look at his shakiness, pal, I think you need help more than money. Either you give me your cash, or I'll go cut that little girl in there. He screamed in Naruto's face. It happened so fast not even a breath passed between them both. Naruto palm strikes him in the throat, his knife was thrown up from his hand as he leans forward to hurl. Naruto jumps up, delivering a heavy knee to his chin. The man stumbled backward, nearly getting hit by a car only for Naruto to grab him in time. If he thought it was finished with, Naruto instead drags him into a heavy haymaker punch. The man's body fell backwards, crumbling into the ground as his nose flowed with blood. The knife nearly hit the ground before Naruto grabbed it and stabbed down. The man screams for his life, only for the knife to stop an inch from his eye. Naruto watched as the man's pants became wet, he shook, looking up at the blonde. It took everything he had not sink the blade the next 3 inches down, ending the man's life. Gathering himself, Naruto simply glared right into the man's eyes. A tint of red shading where the blue should have been, his heart beating rapidly before they faded back to their normal azure blue. Don't ever threaten my family, bastard. Naruto warned the man before raising back up. I'm calling the police, do not move at all. Why yes sir, I won't move, I'm sorry. The man apologized profusely, holding his hands up. Bail emergency services, do you need a Leo, medic or firefighter? The scroll stated loudly after being put on speaker mode. Naruto answers quickly while still holding the knife out, I need a Leo on site at 366 Rose Avenue, in front of Icharaku Ramen. Okay sir, an officer will be there shortly. The female voice on the scroll says as he heard it hang up. Listen kid, I got one last rock of moon crystal, the drug addict said to Naruto while reaching into his pocket. It's worth 100 leans. Naruto smacks it out of the man's hand, making it go into the sewer drain. You need to quit that stuff, just shut up until the police get here. Screw you kid, the druggie growled as he tried to get up, only to get his chest pushed down by Naruto's foot. The man coughs up and yells at the fox furnace, you are holding me against my will, animal. Oh, we're going there, really? Naruto angrily questioned as he held his foot on the man's chest. Get off of me. The man demanded while struggling and shrieked at some more, I said get off of me. Blue and red lights pulled up, with an officer getting out. He then points his gun at Naruto, who immediately threw his hands up. The officer, a pudgy man with a double chin and wide mustache, kept his gun trained at Naruto as he moved forward. Freeze. Nobody moves, get away from him, now. The officer ordered Naruto. Naruto looks astonished and yells out, I'm the one that called you. I don't know that, just stay there. The officer ordered with another yell. Naru. Akahana ran out of the store, yelling, are you okay? I'm fine sis, just go back inside. Naruto told his sister, only for the officer to turn to her with his gun. What the hell is wrong with you, get that gun down from my sister. The officer focuses back on Naruto and screams out, shut up kid. Naru. She yelled out, scared out of her mind. Please don't shoot my brother. Everyone calm down, right now. The officer ordered with a scream as he lowered his gun from Naruto. I rolled up with you standing on a man's chest, what was I supposed to think? You didn't have to draw your gun, asshole. Naruto cursed at the man, he was shaking with anger. Much less pointed at my sister. Whatever kid, you said you called, what for? The officer argued as he walked forward. Did you two get into a fight? Fight? Nah, this kid just started wailing on me. The man on the ground lied as he struggled to get up. Naruto calls him out on it, screaming down at him, liar, you tried to rob me Databeo. Okay look, obviously this man you took down is a druggie, the officer said to Naruto. I'm going to put him in cuffs, but you seriously gotta work on your manners, Faunus. Naruto took a deep breath, my manners would be better if some knucklehead wouldn't point a gun at my damn sister. I didn't know she was your sister, I can't tell that, for all I know she could be with this punk. The officer chastised him while getting the man up in cuffs. Their mother pulls up in her car, getting out after parking across the street. She runs over them, only for the officer to stop her, hands on his freshly holstered gun. Naruto stumps over in front of her, glaring at the man. His eyes promising the officer pain if he tried to pull his gun. What the hell is going on, Naruto? Kushina questioned as she looked at her crying daughter and her son getting a gun pointed at him by an officer. Got robbed at knife point, well he tried, and I called the police. They sent this itchy trigger finger having idiot. Naruto answered her with a yell while still facing the officer, just get yourself a knocket inside of the shop. The officer grumbles out something Naruto caught, frigging Faunus and their criminal behaviors. Hey, Naruto called out to the officer, I can hear you, you racist asshole. I don't care, bastard. The officer hollered back as he slammed the guy into the back of his cruiser. Got a problem, file a complaint. Kushina held Akahana as Naruto watches the cruiser leave. He walks toward them, entering Icharaku while breathing hard. He sat at a table while Akahana sat next to him. He was dry heaving as he looked at her, bringing her close to him. She was hugging him tightly, crying into his shoulder. Kushina looked at him, noting the absolute terror in his eyes. He kisses his sister's head, don't ever run out there like that again. I'm sorry, she repeated with tears streaming down her face. I didn't want him to shoot you. Wait, he was threatening to shoot Naruto. Kushina inquired as she sat next to them. Naruto nudges his head side to side, I don't know what the hell he was doing. All I know was that he came out of the car constantly pointing his gun at something. Mama, does our cameras still work? Akahana asked their mother while wiping tears away from her eyes. Kushina thought about it, I'll have to check, Naruto what do you think we should? I say we get his stupid fat ass fired, Naruto cursed as he thought about the man. I'm sorry for cussing mom, but gods, I'd killed him if he had accidentally squeezed that trigger and something happened to Aka. He had his finger on the trigger the entire time. She questioned, shocked at the poor firearms training. Is he insane? More like a racist, Naruto told her while holding Akahana still. Please tell me our cameras have audio. She shakes her head, no, but they do have video. I'm going to go check it out right now. Ruby and Yang woke up, yawning. Both sisters looked at the time, with Yang checking her scroll. It was nearly 8 in the morning. She curses lightly under her breath. Ruby meanwhile walks into the bathroom, intending to brush her teeth with a toothbrush she had with her in a small fanny pack under her battle dress as she liked to call it. Yang looks out the window. "Hey Ruby, are you hungry?" "Well, yeah, the cookies yesterday didn't agree with my system too much last night. Any good soup places around here?" she inquired as she came out of the bathroom. Yang hums while looking up the road, noting a small dining establishment. She heard a familiar revving engine, seeing that similar-looking bike from the bar riding past their hotel. She felt her heart skip a beat, noting the odds of actually seeing him again and within the same area no doubt. Getting her gear on, she saw Ruby changing into her battle dress and stretching. She picks up their clothes, placing them into the duffel bag. Draping it over her left shoulder, Ruby got one last yawn in before watching as her sister finished getting dressed. "There's a place down the road called Icharaku," Yang pointed out as she saw the small design of a ramen bowl. "It's ramen." "Ramen sounds lovely right now," Ruby commented as she got toward the door. "Ready sis?" "Yep," Yang answered while walking to the door. They both exited the room after making sure they had everything. Walking down the hall, getting into the elevator, she presses the button for the ground floor. Slowly but surely the machine took them down. Ruby began humming with music again, this time awkwardly dancing to it slightly. Yang rolls her eyes at her sister. She and Ruby made down to the floor. The old man was fast asleep, but with a ring of the bell he jolts awake. Rubbing his eyes, he looks at them both, checking out. "Yep," Ruby answered while handing him the keycard. "Thank you." The old man waves her off. They walk outside, seeing the bustling of the morning commute. Yang went over toward Bumblebee, climbing on it. Ruby meanwhile walks down the sidewalk. She smiles, deciding to drive her motorbike over toward the ramen shop while Ruby ran with her trying to follow using her semblance. Rose petals cascade across the morning commute, some people complaining, some young school children marveling at the aura-powered petals. Entering Icharaku, they both found that the restaurant was slightly busy. A little red-eyed girl with long fox ears was dashing between tables. She then came up to them, smiling, "Welcome to Icharaku." She beckons them, making sure the two sisters follow her. She sat them at a corner table. She hands them 2 menus while placing straws down. She got a notepad out, smiling brightly, something about that smile seemed familiar to Yang as she looked at her. "What would you like to drink?" "We have a special on coffee going on, but our herbal teas are also the bee's knees," the girl stated as she continued her bright smile. Yang thought about it. "I'd like your chamomile tea." "I want some too." Ruby jumped in as she placed her order. The girl nods her head, writing it down. "Alright, it'll be out in a minute. Please take a look at our menu, currently we cannot do tonkatsu since our tonkatsu chef is out." "What is tonkatsu?" Ruby inquired as she looked at the images of it. "Kind of looks like fried food honestly." "Tonkatsu is fried, yes, but it's made with panko crumbs. It's served with 3 different dip sauces, but generally our most popular is a peanut sauce. It adds a nice tang to it," the girl explained to Ruby while looking over the menu. "My mother can do a mad udon though." "Ooh, udon it now Ruby." Yang punned while looking over the ramen. "What's the Narutomaki special?" "Oh, that's a great choice," she pointed out. "It's made with fish cakes called Narutomaki, eggs, pork fillet, and comes with sriracha sauce." "You know what, I'll try the Narutomaki," Yang ordered as she looked at Ruby. "What about you sis?" The yummy yama." Ruby blushed a little bit while trying to pronounce the word. "I'll have this one." "The yama cake udon," she told Ruby while writing it down. "That's my mom's favorite." "Is it only you two? Seems a lot for a young kid." Yang questioned while seeing the bags under the girl's eyes. She smiles softly at the sister, but then sighs, "My papa died when I was babe, so he left this shop to mom, my brother, and me. My name's Akahana by the way, ramen chef in training, Dadakane." "That a wa now?" Yang questioned, watching as the red-eyed blushed a little bit. "It's a verbal tic that runs in my family," she revealed as she rubbed the back of her head. "I'm sorry if that sounds weird." Yang smiles, holding her fist out. "I think it's cool." "Thank you," Akahana giggled while fist bumping the blonde. "I'm gonna get your order going, see ya in a few minutes." Ruby smiles, looking at her sister, she's very pretty. "I know right, weirdest thing though, I could have sworn I heard something similar to what she said. That data whatever, but for the life of me, I can't seem to remember where." Yang said while rubbing her chin, "I'm sure if I heard the exact sound again, I'd remember." Inside the busy Vale PD, Naruto sat in a chair waiting to be seen. He saw several people getting dragged in, mostly Franus. He noted that the officers on duty stared at him. He clutches the ticket harder in his hand. He should be helping his family at their restaurant, instead he was sitting here waiting on a meeting with a sergeant. He had a video CD in his hand, a burned copy, in case someone tried to make this disappear. Finally, a man with gray hair came up to the desk, calling number 14. Number 14. Naruto got up, walking over to the desk. He politely hands his ticket to the clerk. Smiling, at least trying to smile anyway. The clerk took the ticket, looking at him. "Okay son, this is the form here. Please answer all questions truthfully. After you complete the form, I'll have you go into interview room 5. Sergeant Gunther will take your case from there. May I ask what that CD is for?" The clerk inquired. "It's a video from in front of Icharaku Ramen, evidence basically." Naruto replied while looking at the paperwork. "I'll turn it in with the paperwork." "Okay son, you do that," the clerk told him as he watched the blonde walk back over to his seat. Naruto sat there, holding the paperwork with a clipboard and began scouring through it. He bit his lip as he saw all the legal jargon, trying to figure it out. He wishes he could just call a lawyer, but that was money even with his side business that he didn't have at the moment. Slowly, but surely, he began to wade through the most basic questions. Coming into the juicy ones and began to answer in detail. "Are you being convicted of a crime?" "No." "What race do you belong to?" "Faunus." Description of officer responding. Bigger man, with brownish hair and large mustache. Had ice blue eyes, wore his gun on the left. Had a small scar on his left cheek. "Were you the victim of a crime?" "Yes, I was being robbed when one of your officers came up and pointed a gun at me." "How was the officer acting during the situation?" "Kept his finger on the trigger throughout the entire engagement." "Did you get the name and badge of the officer?" "No, I didn't, he stormed off after arresting the addict trying to rob me." "At what point did our officer, in your opinion, break the law?" "Pointed a gun at my little kid sister, despite me identifying her." "Do you believe this is of a nature related to a hate crime, i.e. racism, sexism etc.? "Yes." Date of incident. August 7, 081 AGW, after Great War. Naruto finished writing the report. He got back up, turning the disc in with the paperwork. The clerk nods, getting up from his desk and walking him over toward the interview room. Opening the door, Naruto noted that the room was empty. Sighing, the blonde took a seat and sat there. Beginning the long wait. Kushina was watching as several people came into the shop. A few hours ago they nearly got robbed. Yet, the police officer that arrived was hostile to them. Naruto was making tonkatsu in the back, with Akahana watching him closely to learn. The red-deeded woman walked into the dining room, noting the lack of customers. She sighed, wondering if eventually their benefactor Achirami would eventually stop funding if she couldn't pay back the loans when they got called in. Her son had arrived after a few hours being gone at the PD. She sighed upon seeing him, slightly red-faced, knowing that he had been a small yelling match. The blonde watches his mother lower her head and he frowns before looking at his sister. "Sis, how long has customers not been coming here as much? I heard morning rush was good, but rush hour is slow." "It started last year," Akahana replied as she watches him prepare chicken tonkatsu after she got accused of food poisoning a critic. Naruto growls a little bit, finishing his chicken tonkatsu for an order. "I thought mom won that lawsuit." "She signed something called an NDA," his sister revealed to him as she got the order. He removed the review, but I think it didn't help much. She walks out with the order, passing their mother as she came into the back. Looking at Naruto, she gave him a small smile. He looked too much like his father, especially wearing the apron. The only difference was his rounder face and flatter nose. She walked over to him, handing him a ticket. Naruto noted a girl with a bow on her hand sitting at a corner table. She was reading a rather risque novella called Ninjas of Love. He got her ticket, noting that it was a fish ramen, extra fish. He began to make it, watching as Akahana got more orders. He readied another pot, sweating a little before finishing the novella girl's ramen. He set it out on the counter, watching his mother get it. Akahana busts into the kitchen with a ticket. "I need 2 bowls of pork miso with narutomaki, Naruto," she said to him while placing the ticket in his hand. He chuckles a little bit. "You gonna let them eat me, mom?" "Shut up and get to work, butt nugget." She laughed with him, ruffling his hair when she came back into the kitchen. In the diner he saw a limousine pull out front. His interest peaked as 2 well-dressed people got out. The duo walked into it, sitting at the back corner table. Lunch rush was happening all around the street, but theirs. Naruto watched as the silver-haired man picked up the menu, while blonde-haired woman simply asked for green tea. The blonde got to making their order immediately, watching as his sister took their first orders. She came back to him, holding a ticket. "I need 2 special order miso pork ramen, 1 spicy and 1 sweet." "Right on it, Aka," Naruto said as he loaded fresh pork onto the skillet. "Who has the spicy?" "The gentleman is having the spicy ramen, he told me to tell you make it as hot as possible." She read the order to her brother, watching him purse his lips. He got out several sauces as he poured noodles into the pot. "Alright, but you might want to give him some milk in there." He says that there'll be one more joining them as well, his sister revealed to him while grabbing the woman's green tea. Should I ask them if they want hold? I doubt they will, but go ahead sis, Naruto instructed his sister while stirring the noodles. She walks back out of the kitchen, over to the table, Naruto watching her from afar. The silver-haired man smiled, patting her shoulder before pointing at him. She immediately got stars in her eyes and ran back into the kitchen. She was giddy, their mother was making fresh noodles in the back when the door slammed open. The girl smiled brightly, looking at her mother. Mom, that's Ospin out there, he's the headmaster of that place, right? Beacon. Akahana announced to her mother while smiling brightly, he told he wanted to talk to Naru. Kushina immediately ran out, shoving Naruto out of the way with her hip. He couldn't protest as she cut him, leaving him unable to form words as she cut him off. No you don't, you go out there and do that interview. Mom, I need to at least make his food first, he ordered as spicy as possible. Naruto argued lightly with his mother, who glared at him. You listen here, I know how to make spicy ramen, and it will be downward hellish on his mouth. You're going to sit at the table, now. Kushina ordered him while smiling and got back to cooking, besides you could do with a better social life. BFFT, Naruto blew raspberries at that and walked out of the shop's kitchen. He walks right up to Ospin's table, taking a sit at the chair sitting across from him. The man smiled, watching as Glinda sipped her green who seemingly rather enjoyed the taste of it. They looked at him, and for once Naruto felt nervous. The older man took some papers out of the file, placing them on the table. Naruto noted that files contained pictures of him, reports, grades, and the dreaded incident reports. Hello there Mr. Namikaze, Ospin greeted him while extending out his hand. I just want to say that it's a pleasure to see that your family still owns this ramen shop. Naruto rubs the back of his head and says, oh thanks. Did you used to dine here a lot or something? Let's just say that I had a ramen addiction for a while and your father was excellent at making that spicy miso with pork fillets. Ospin answered Naruto while leaning back in his chair. Although, I'll cut to the chase Mr. Namikaze. Okay, Naruto readied himself, go ahead. I like your file, I think we have room in Beacon for you, Ospin held out his hand. I just want to welcome you as our new head chef. Naruto was about to shake it until he realizes what he said, he draws his hand back. Wait, what did you say? Ospin couldn't help but laugh, I'm merely joshing you, although if you would like to cook to earn extra cash, I'd give you special permission. Wait a minute, you pulled a joke on me. Naruto realized as his eyes widened, hey all I mean sir that was Ospin wonders why the rambunctious teen stopped in his tracks and he looked over the boy's shoulder. He saw a frightening sight, even he sat back in his chair to get away from her. Her hair waved in 9 separate tails and her wide eyes full of anger shined. She stood far, but yet still over Naruto's shadow. The woman next to him even shrunk back, it all ended when Kushina went back into the kitchen. Naruto took a deep breath and tells them, I deeply apologize for me almost going off. Don't worry, Ospin gathered himself, I completely understand why you stopped, Ms. Goodwitch. Goodwitch sat there, looking at the doorway to the kitchen. She had a look of shrill terror on her face, and she should, because what was at the door wasn't a fellow woman. Kushina Namikaze, for the briefest of moments, was someone to fear more than almost any demon on Remnant. Ospin waved her off, turning toward Naruto with a bright smile. The young man gathered his smile back. So, Mr. Namikaze, can you tell me why you are interested in Beacon Academy? Ospin questioned while watching a little girl walk out holding a tray of food. She walks over to them, placing Ospin's ramen in front of him. Goodwitch watched as hers was placed in front of her, along with some sauce to spice it up if needed. The next plate was a pork tonkatsu with peanut sauce and rice. Naruto's mouth watered as he recognized the dish. It was a dish his mother made only on special occasions. He looked back up Ospin, expecting him to continue the conversation. Instead, the older man was slurping down piping hot noodles. Even Naruto was in shock, holy crap is he insane. That's gotta be some of the hottest ramen I've ever smelled. Ospin broke off the noodles, his face turning red, and he sighs with a satisfied smile. My gods it's still as good as I remembered, Glinda. Glinda Goodwitch stopped slurping her noodles, realizing she was doing so in a way that could have been called uncouth. She stopped, breaking the noodles with her teeth, and swallowed with satisfactory laced moan. She even blushed from it, very few foods ever got her to moan out in pleasure, and this was one of them. She dabs her face with a napkin and apologizes, terribly sorry. Normally I don't hog down my food, Mr. Namikaze did you make this? I made the broth, noodles, and sauces to be added. My mother kicked me out of the kitchen before I could finish. I'll take 50% of the credit though. He informed them while dipping his tonkatsu into the sauce. Normally I don't miss my chance to eat this, do you mind if we continue what we need to continue after we eat? Sure, I did get a table for 3 for a reason, Mr. Namikaze. Ospin revealed to him while smiling slyly. Naruto smiled a little bit, you're sly for a headmaster at an academy. I had my youthful days of pulling jokes on friends, Ospin said to him with grin on his face. Naruto then smirks and replies, seems like you still got it in you. Time to time I do, Ospin told him while nudging his head side to side. Aren't you curious why I'm handling this so well? Actually, Naruto sniffed the ramen and recoiled, holy crap that's spicy enough it is burning my nose. Ospin chuckles a little, it's all in the mind, Mr. Namikaze. If you say so, if I was eating that I'd been begging for some milk, Naruto stated before taking bite out of his tonkatsu. Ospin wiped his mouth with a napkin and inquires, so, tell me Mr. Namikaze why Beacon? Well, now that we can put down the food for a moment, I suppose I chose Beacon to follow in my father's footsteps. He was a graduate and I don't know what happened to rest of his team though. I heard that he briefly worked directly for Beacon from my mom, but that's before they met. Naruto explained his answer while leaning back in his chair. Ospin sighs as he looked at the boy, Minato's team didn't last too long after graduation, Mr. Namikaze. It was unfortunate, but things like bad luck do happen. Oh, well that's terrible to hear, Naruto replied while frowning. Not trying to damper on the mood, but your father briefly took a student. He was always the sort of man that believed hold the world up by himself. In a way, I guess that's true for you all. I would dare say especially for you, after all you do look like him. Ospin stated while looking into Naruto's eyes. The blonde Franus bit his lip, my father was my hero. As he was to many others, I found it strange that he quit early, but I was happy for him. Not many of us, Mr. Namikaze, make it out of this world alive. The chances of you furthering your family, bringing children into this world, they're significantly lowered by being a huntsman. I expect you to honor your father, but I don't want someone committing suicide by a different name. Ospin's tone had changed to a serious one as he spoke, leaving little doubt on the table. Naruto took a deep breath and then speaks to them, I am going to do my best for him. I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of world where my sister has to be scared to walk in the woods. I'm afraid of world where her children will be hunted by monsters. If that means I have to put my life on the line, there will be no question about it. I'm not scared of death, but I'm scared of losing everyone I love because I couldn't protect them. Naruto finished his speech while looking serious and right into Ospin's eyes. Ospin smiles and accepted his answer, your file says you have a temper. I guess that comes with the territory, Minato was a shrewd young man growing up in my academy and let his emotions guide him more than once. Are you saying that's a bad, because I rather follow my heart than second guess myself? Naruto retorted while crossing his arms. Ospin got a data pad out, playing a video of last night, I assure this will not be brought to police. That bar owner has been a bit of thorn in our sides for a little bit. Yeah, he deserved, talking about giving my mother after service attention. Naruto told him, and Ospin frowned at the answer. Ospin looked him dead in the eyes and spoke, revenge is a slippery slope, Mr. Namikaze. We lose ourselves in it, writhe in it, and we glorify it. There's no glory in revenge, you lower yourself down to very person's level that you hate. So, you're saying I'm scum then? Naruto accused him while raising his eyebrow. Never said that, boy. Ospin countered while stirring his bowl, I'm just happy to know that you've got a lot to learn. Naruto ignores the boy comment and sighed, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I apologize, but I won't say sorry for giving something that someone had coming for a while. Well I guess we can agree to disagree, Ospin stated before grabbing the bowl and swallowing the remaining contents. Ah, always a good stuff here. Indeed, I finished mine while you two were talking. I do have some questions for Mr. Namikaze. Glinda said while getting a refill by Akahana. Thank you dear. Akahana blushes and walked away. Mr. Namikaze, I have read over your file. You have phenomenal scores in combat, tactics, and hand-to-hand. While hand-to-hand isn't necessarily an individual class in Beacon, we do offer one-to-one training with weapons. We have an AI system that pilots a small mech, it's able to provide you a limits-free sparring experience for when you really want to test your mantle. I saw that video, I watched over and over again, and something is bothering me a little bit. Linda told Naruto before playing the video, your file says nothing about practicing swordsmanship. Naruto rubs the back of his nervously and tells her, that's because I've not officially listed it. I'm not super great with a sword, but I can make do. Still though, Glinda argued before pausing at the part where he took Milsha and Melanie. That right there shows a higher level of combat skills. I know Ironwood personally and he pushes his students. He also elevates those who he deems exceptional. General Ironwood wanted me to go into Aesop's training, Naruto revealed to them while resting his elbows on the table. I told him no, because I wanted to be with my family in Vale. You also wanted to be away from the memories of Ilia, is that fair to say? Glinda offered up, which made Naruto shut his eyes and bit his lip. Ilia was my friend, he replied calmly despite a small shake in his voice. I loved her like a sister, it hurt when she gave up. I'll admit I was mad at General Ironwood because it didn't give a damn, Dadabeo. Glinda nodded and placed a hand on his file. Ironwood has put a request to have you back, considering that you also have association with one Jacques Schnee. His eyes widens as he looked behind him, noting that his sister and mother were busy. He looked at Glinda, shaking his head, please don't say that here. They don't know, and I don't want them to know. The blonde teacher nods and then smiles, I suppose you are him then, the small-time artist in Atlas I heard about. I learned to paint while in Atlas, Ilia actually taught me, and I perfected my work enough to sell. I don't want to be rich off of it, it makes feel dirty that Jacques Schnee of all people buys my work. He admitted while double-checking. I've seen your work, you're very talented. I think you'll more than just a good student here at Beacon, personally, I think you'll make a wondrous addition. However, I've noticed that you do have a fighting streak, care to elaborate? Glinda inquired while looking into his eyes. Naruto chuckles a little, breathing a sigh of relief, I just hate bullies. I hate people who attempt to lord themselves over others simply because they think they're better. We can agree that I am your superior, correct? Glinda asked while arching eyebrow. He merely smirks while showing his canine teeth and challenges her. I would like to spar with you, Ms. Goodwitch. Ospin hums at that, looking at Glinda, he's indeed a rambunctious youth. Not the first time I sit one of them on their butt, Glinda laughs in reply. I tell you what, Mr. Namikaze, I'll take your spar when you pass initiation. Initiation, I thought I already was getting initiated. Naruto asked while slightly confused. Ospin laughs and merely smiles briefly afterwards. Oh Mr. Namikaze, this formality. Beacon has a test to weed out those who belong and who don't. Your paper speaks for you, but I prefer actions. But you know, Naruto smirked with confidence while speaking, I love action. Heh, Ospin smiled wide, welcome to Beacon Academy then. I look forward to seeing you, be sure to take this at the airport. Your flight will be in 2 days' time. He got up from the table, grabbing his cane, oh and by chance do you all sell hot cocoa? Roaring sun. Ospin and Glinda were riding down the road in the limousine. Inside was a raven-haired youth with onyx eyes. He had a cup of green tea in his hands. The onyx-eyed youth was human, standing near 6 feet tall. He wore a black cloak with a dark blue long-sleeved shirt and navy blue cargo pants. A sword, specifically a chikudo, laid next to him. Thank you for the tea, Mrs. Goodwitch. He thanked her while they traveled in the limousine. Glinda smiles and replies, no problem, Sasuke-cha. Ospin had finally gotten to drinking his hot chocolate from Icharaku. It was made personally by Naruto himself. The older man moaned in satisfaction as the hot liquid washed down his iron throat. He finished, at least for now, with the lion's share of the hot cocoa resting comfortably in his stomach. He faced towards Sasuk, but something made the youth slightly jump a little. Glinda looked at him and jumped back herself. But gods Ospin, how much chocolate did he put in there? She asked, baffled while looking at his teeth as they got stained black. Ospin was confused and told her about the amount one would expect for hot cocoa. It's rather good, not as great as the personalized one I get at Beacon, but a close third. No Mr. Ospin, I think Mrs. Goodwitch referring to the fact that your teeth are solid black. Sasuk pointed out, handing him turned-off data pad from a seat. Ospin checks himself in it and he could only laugh, I'll be darned. Namikaze has the gall to actually prank him. Ospin, why are you smiling so big? Glinda inquired while getting slightly concerned. Ospin reaches over, finishing the hot cocoa, oh Mrs. Glinda. Young Namikaze has just declared war. Are sanctioning pranks? She asks while slightly moving away from him. Ospin chuckled evilly, looking right at both of them. I'm sanctioning them, I'm going actively participate in them. Episode 2 end. Sasuke Uchiha was young man with onyx eyes, raven-like hair, and angular jaw. He wasn't a talkative person, Ospin read his file enough to know that. What Sasuk lacked in socializing, he made up for the fact that he is the strongest student to come from Iskuro, which hailed from Kakuina. Kakuina was a small city settlement near Vacuo City herself. Located in the middle of the Great Wastes. It was harsh settlement, strength meant everything. He wore a white long-sleeved buttoned shirt with a black cloak. His black Kevlar pants were slightly loose and had various pouches on them. Ospin. Ospin sat in his limousine with Sasuk and Glinda as they rode through the city of Vale. Sasuk took in the lights, the glamour, and merely scoffed at it all. It meant nothing to him, too much ritzy displays. Trinket shops rounded every corner, people plying their trades, but at the end of the day, Sasuk knew that just by looking that these streets were rough. It's wonder really, I don't see anybody trying to take this limousine. Obviously, we're not in a very good neighborhood, Sasuk observed while seeing two people in a back alley beginning to yell at each other. Ospin purses his lips and smiled while asking, you got all this just by glancing around. Observation keeps you from being surprised by Grim, Bandit, and fellow trainees. If I can't judge a room accurately by walking in it within the first 3 seconds, the 4th second ends with me or my team dead on the ground. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Either you can or you just don't. Sasuk replied while relaxing himself in the chair. Are you always business? Glinda inquired while looking at him. Sasuk sighs while leaning back, hands under his chin. I am not going to lie to you. I'm only seeking to be a huntsman to gain the power I need to avenge my family. I read the file, Ospin told him as he took the file out, your brother. Itachi, Sasuk growled softly while glaring at Itachi's picture in the profile. I want to avenge my mother and father. Revenge is a two-way street, Sasuk, I believe that your cause is just. However, would really killing your own flesh and blood brother make you feel better? Ospin inquired while gauging Sasuk's reaction to the question. The raven-haired youth bit his lip, have you ever lost everything? Mr. Uchiha, I have lost everything, I have taken the life of those who took everything from me, and at the end of the day I regret every bit of those choices. Perhaps you will be a great huntsman, probably the greatest, but you'll be short-lived in this world if you allow rage to guide. Beacon Academy is great place for you, because perhaps we can temper that rage. Ospin answered while picking up his new fresh cocoa. Sasuk merely scoffs at the idea, I don't need friends. That's where you're wrong, dear boy, your eventual teammates will provide a foundation of siblinghood. You all will sleep, eat, and fight together. You may be a lone wolf, Mr. Uchiha, but I assure you that lone wolves don't make it far in the wild alone. Ospin lectured the young man before sipping more hot cocoa. Sasuk grunts and smiled condescendingly, says the pack leader that got tricked earlier. Please, dear boy, if I thought I was in danger no one would be within 10 feet of me. The headmaster of Beacon chides the bravado-filled youth. Don't patronize me. Swordsmen are becoming more popular it seems, as did Ichikudo. Glinda inquired while looking at his sword he held to his side. Sasuk took the blade with its scabbard, placing it on his lap. He removed the blade slowly. The glimmer of the dark silver steel came from the top lights of the limousine. She noted that there were etchings in Old Mistralian, and Ospin took notice as well. He remarked it with a knowing smile, rubbing his chin. May I? He asked while reaching for it. Sasuk nods and then hands him the sword slowly, my family comes from an old family in ancient Mistral. I can tell, this craftsmanship is remarkable. I've only seen 4 other swords like it, Ospin remarked while observing the blade. Does it have an innate dust element built into it? Sasuk traces his finger on the edge, imbuing some of his dark blue aura into it. The sword's edge changed colors to that a stunning dark blue. Ospin held his hand on the hilt as electricity sparked from the blade, zapping across it. The crackle caused Glinda to jump a little bit as it nearly flowed off the blade. The Uchiha just snapped his fingers, deactivating the blade by negating his aura in it. Ospin smiled, rubbing the edge of the blade, and then came to the etchings. Sasuk spoke up, proudly declaring its name, this Chikudo was forged from the broken remnants of the katana called Anakiri. Ospin whistled a little, and then asks, can you tell its story? Anakiri was supposed to be a katana. Anakiri was a katana, yes, but it broke during the last 200 years. My ancient ancestor, Tanju, broke it against a battle with a grim known as Yamada no Urachi. He died in that battle, but the blade inflicted a wound that couldn't be healed. Eventually Yamada died, and thus Anakiri was reforged by my family. Sasuk told Ospin and then took the blade gently from Ospin's hands. Sasuk then speaks in ancient Mistralian and translated after. Arashi Kami no Akari, anger of the storm god. He slips the Chikudo back into its scabbard, then placed it back behind him. Ospin was impressed by the youth, nodding his head. He reached into the file, pulling out some incident reports. Sasuk Uchiha, it says here that you nearly killed a fellow student in Oscuro. The reason being that he tried to steal your sword. Ospin said sternly while holding the file out. If it wasn't for an instructor, you'd killed the poor boy. He tried to take what is rightfully mine, Sasuk retorted as he patted Onigiri. It's the last link I have to my family. As much as I can understand, you'll have to control that anger while in Beacon. One incident of near murder, and I'll put you out myself. Ospin emphasized as he stared Sasuk right in the eyes. The Uchiha didn't even flinch, I wouldn't mind having a sparring duel with you. Glinda eyed Ospin, who looks at her with a smile, looks like we got 2 who need to learn the hierarchy. Yes, the blonde agreed with her boss, they'll have to pass the initiation test first. The youth eyes both of them, initiation. Why of course, Glinda lightly chuckled as she leaned back, it's Beacon's one cruel tradition. It separates those who belong and those who do not. Ospin leaned forward as he smiles, but I guess it's something you'll just have to find out. He got into his satchel, bringing out a ticket. Handing it to Sasuk, the youth studied, noting that it was going to be 3 days' time before he needed to board. With a signal the driver pulled off to the side, near a hotel, and Ospin extended his arm out. Until next time, Mr. Uchiha, if you pass the initiation, I look forward to seeing that you get your match. Ospin stated while feeling Sasuk take his hand. The Uchiha just scoffs at him with a confident smile, don't get mad at me if I prove a little too much, old man. But that Sasuk got out the car, leaving Ospin sitting there. His face slightly red as the car door was gently shut. He looked at Glinda, who knowingly nodded her head with a sigh. Kids these days, so rude, you aren't an old man. Glinda commented as she looked at the man. Ospin sighs while leaning fully back in his limousine, I'm only 46, I'm not old. Namikaze at least had some manners when challenging you. So, Glinda eyed him, I should go easy on him. Oh, heavens no, when it comes time, we stump these little punks into the ground. I gotta bet that Uchiha will outlast Namikaze. Ospin stated with gusto while grabbing his hot cocoa, Naruto may be energetic, but his fighting style is too direct to be an issue. Glinda shrugs as she then offered some, then again Namikaze may surprise us, especially if he's going to be using his father's sword. I've never actually seen Minato use it before, Ospin admitted before taking a gulp of hot cocoa. Glinda looked surprised, really, wasn't he one of your experiments? Minato was indeed part of Project Ragnarok. Same as Crow and Raven. He was just the last attempt and the perfect achievement. Huntsmen are super soldiers, yes, but compared to what I achieved with him, they might as well be children. Ospin beamed with pride before sulking slightly. Yet, I guess that's the cancer formed. Was it worth it? Glinda questioned while sipping a mug of hot cocoa. Ospin grimly nods as he thought about it, he killed an entire round table worth of her enemies. Even a traitor maiden. So, Glinda raised her eyebrow, why didn't he tell you he had found someone? Minato kept to himself, the headmaster answered while placing his mug back in the coaster. You're wondering if it's possible that he passed down the Ragnarok gene. She crosses her legs, is it possible? No, Ospin shook his head, otherwise Yang would be able to transform like her mother. She hummed at the answer, thinking before pointing out something, Namikaze didn't have a semblance listed. I noticed that as well, Ospin observed while getting his file back out. Sometimes huntsmen take a while, but someone like him should have already at least had glimpses of it. His partner takes a deep breath, perhaps it's a cursed semblance like Crow's. That would be awful, the older man stated, while giving the signal for the driver to drive. Perhaps we'll be able to help him if so. That's if he passes initiation, Ospin, we cannot make exceptions anymore based on personal feelings. She argued lightly while getting the paper for today that had been sitting next to her. Ospin takes a deep breath and sighs, you're right, we'll just have to wait and see. The duo watches as their driver made it onto the highway. Taiyang was a simple man. He had 2 daughters, both getting ready to empty the nest he had built. His blonde hair moved about as he walks around their house. His daughters were inside Vale City, having a blast it seemed. Minus the minor heart attack he got from Ruby's arrest, he trusted that they were safe. Walking into the back rooms, looking at his daughter's rooms, he placed a hand on Ruby's door. Pushing it open, watching his way, the family Choji walks in with him. She had her room decorated with band posters, some goth motifs. His little gun nut had magazines around the room as well, along with instruction manuals she had wrote herself for Crescent Rose. Getting a picture up from her nearby desk, he saw himself nearly 12 years younger holding the little bundle in his arms. Her mother, his late lover, was standing behind him with a smile while holding up Yang. Well Summer, we did it, our girls are young women now. Ah what a ride it was, he thought to himself while stroking the picture. Crow's going to flip when he finds out that Ruby got into Beacon early. He felt a tear roll out from his eye, wish you could have been here with us a little longer. Sway whimpers, jumping up on his leg. Taiyang bent down, placing the picture down on the nightstand. He picked up Sway, cuddling him like a baby. His black and white fur making a small puffball. He walks out of Ruby's room, closing the door slowly. He then came into Yang's room, checking to make sure she hadn't forgotten anything. Pictures of boy bands, some metal groups, lined her walls. He sighs, looking at a framed picture of them together working on Bumblebee. The duo had worked day and night for 3 straight weeks when they finally built the first version of her motorbike. She had driven people crazy around Patch Town, but he was always so proud to see that beautiful smile plastered on her face. His one wish now, even though she was a free bird like her mother in some ways, was she'd find someone to love her. He wanted the man she'd find, her woman, to cherish her like he cherished her. Walking out of the room, closing the door, Taiyang walked into the living room. He sat on the couch, looking at the weather channel. It was calling for clear skies and weather for the rest of August. Which meant that the old woman next door, a few miles down, would need help with her farm. Like always, and in a way his ex-wife was right, Taiyang was a sucker for those in need. Don't know what I'm doing for dinner, Zway. He told his companion as he rubbed the scruff on the back of his neck. Steaks. Nah, wanna save those for when the girls come home in a few months for fall break. Chicken doesn't sound super bad, a nice bourbon glaze for me and for you a leg with all the trimmings. Sway barks at that, his mouth drooling. Yeah, chicken it is. Taiyang declared as he got up, stretching before walking into the kitchen. Naruto walks over to few people sitting at a table. A girl wearing sunglasses sat talking to Franus girl with rabbit ears. While the human girl had ordered extra meat with her ramen, the rabbit Franus wanted vegetable udon. Serving them while Akahana took a break, he bowed in gratitude before walking away. Kushina was in the back, tallying the sales up as the night began winding down. Kushina saw the table of 4 Naruto had taken the food begin to dig in. She also noted that the girl with a bow on her head had come back, ordering the same woman as before. She watches as her came into the kitchen area. Stretching before changing into his motorbike attire. He washes his hands at the sink, noting the dishwashers were at work cleaning the grime off customer plates, pots, and various other kitchenware. I think we did good tonight, what do you think mom? Naruto asked as his came back from her break. Kushina purses her lips, checking the number of tickets they had, we had around 186 orders. Not too shabby, right? Naruto inquired before noting his mother's frown. Mom? Naruto Kushina sighed as she looked at her son, Akahana will start back school in September. I'll have no one to help me and I can't afford staff. I just don't know how this is going to keep going. Naruto's smile fades as he thought about what she said, does your white knight investor know? Yes, she told him before sitting down. I can't keep asking him for loans, son. Meh, what if he made the stipulation for you all to relocate? You have to admit mom, most of customer base isn't here anymore. Plus, this neighborhood keeps getting worse, given the White Fang are muscling their way in on top of other rights groups. I hate to say it, but I'm kind of scared for you all. They're not like they used to be, now it seems like they're no better than humans first. Naruto said while turning off ovens. Kushina sat there listening to her son and smiles a little. I'd have to think about it. However, you do make a good point, Databane. We'll just have to wait and see if he offers it, Naruto replied as he popped his neck. Mom, do you think that you can take Akahana home tonight? It's just 13 hours until I leave for Beacon and want to go have a little fun. Her smile brightens a little bit, you just be safe, son. Naruto nods, walking out toward the open lobby of the restaurant. Seeing the 4 members of the table getting up. With tips left on the table in paper leans and most of their food finished. They all funneled out, with a rather tall and large young man holding the door open for others. He noted that the rabbit Franus was looking at him little, with a blush on her face. He'd admit that it flattered him, but he didn't take notice of her like that. Admittingly she was cute though, but he just wasn't interested. He did wave at her though when they left, noting that they are horsing around in the night. He walks over to their table, helping Akahana grab the dishes before returning to the kitchen fast to put them in a freed-up dishwasher. Okay guys, Naruto called out to his family. I'm going to have some fun tonight. I love you all, don't wait up. Akahana ran over to her brother, hugging him tight. Love you Naru, be safe. I will sis, Naruto said to her before bumping fists. Bye mom, love you all. We love you too. They both called out together. Naruto was rocking out on his motorbike, dashing down a street. He smiled as Gypsy King played over his speakers. His mother and sister had closed up shop for tonight. The blonde figured that for tonight and tonight only, he'd go and get into some trouble. Tomorrow he'd be heading toward the airport, catching the next blimp to Beacon Academy. He roared past Junior's bar and did a 180, pulling up to the man. Junior was confused until he pulled up his visor, shooting an absolutely vicious grin. 3 days after his little visit to Junior's bar and the man still wasn't coming around. Junior immediately straightens up, crossing his legs. Naruto chuckled as he roars his motorcycle and sped off. Was it petty? Sure, but it felt great. His scroll went off, making him grimace. He pulls over to a corner, putting the kickstand down as he opened the device. The number from last night was calling, and he answered it this time without any interference or risk. His original, school-provided scroll was resting comfortably in the port used to link his music account to his motorbike. Naruto swipes to answer, hello. Hi there, Mr. Kazunami, this is Mirabella, I work for the Atlassian banking firm. As your financial advisor, I've tried to reach out to you twice. The investment account, entitled Icharaku, is making a net loss. Do you wish to drop the account? You don't have to, but it is my job as your financial advisor to point out any net losses in your portfolio. The financial advisor, Mirabella told Naruto. Naruto sucks on his teeth and answers no Mrs. Mirabella. The Icharaku account stays open and is to be channeled. My current 50% monthly income is requested. Right, Mirabella replied with some frustration in her voice. You should know that your investment in Schnee Industries has been on track for a record number. While Icharaku carries a constant net loss, your Schnee Industries account has made 20% more than last month. Your monthly dividends have increased, currently, from 5,000 liens to 6,000. Naruto smiles at that, looking around. I want to look into options of requesting a move of business of Icharaku ramen. Usually, a move of business is expensive and costly. However, if you're dead set on this I can contact my regional contacts in Vale. I've got some on Patch Island, but that's generally a lot more property value than Vale City itself. There are the coastal cities of Mist, Opal, and the town of Crest. She informed Naruto while listing the locations. Naruto thinks about it and then smiles. How about we focus on Patch Island and Opal? Very well, Mirabella concluded as he heard typing. I'll have your business associate, Kushina Namikaze, sent paperwork. Will do, thank you Mirabella, Naruto thanked her as he ends the call. But the beeping following the drop. He folds the scroll, placing it in his back pocket. Grabbing a small bottle of water from the back cargo space in his motorbike, he opened it and took a long drink. By the time he parted his lips from the opening half the bottle had been drained. He looked at his legitimate scroll, noting that his mother had sent him a text telling to enjoy his time tonight. He smiled, placing it in his front pocket. He placed the water bottle back in the cargo space, hopping back on his bike, he started it. The engine revs to life, screeching as he placed the helmet visor back down. He sped off from the parking spot onto the main road. He saw the busy crowds, all of them lining out of several bars, clubs, and some more explicit entertainment establishments. Naruto got a little distracted driving by, blushing as he noticed one of the women blinking at him. He merely just got back to driving, refocusing on the road ahead. That's when he heard another motorbike's engine roaring right next to him. He looked to his side, seeing a yellow sports bike with black detailing. It's designed with aerodynamics in mind. The driver, a young woman in a yellow tracksuit, revved her engine next to him. She greets him by holding up two fingers in a peace sign. Yo, that's a cool bike. Question, how fast does she go? Naruto smirks under his helmet, revving his engine, faster than yours. Ooh, oh, that's big fightin' words there, wanna race? She called out to him, leaning on her bars a little. The Fronis teen just laughs a little, sure, but aren't you scared that the cops would stop you? The FFT, please me and Bumblebee aren't scared of a good time. She retorted while leaning forward, now facing the street. Naruto chuckles while getting his bike ready, neither are me and Kitsune. Gonna show us a good time? She flirted while slowly leaning forward on her bike. Because I'm down for it. He'd admit that his heart had skipped a beat, even if she was teasing him. He did the same thing, calling over to her, first want to get to Eastern Port District wins. Ooh, you're so on, she replied back as she got ready. Don't worry, my dust tastes good. When the light turned green, Naruto and she punched it. Both motorbikes roared as they popped wheelies as they blasted past cars in their way. The red-colored bike passed her on her turn, leading to an exit. She took the same exit as they came into thin traffic. She laughed while passing him up and sped into the inner lane. Naruto laughing just zoomed past her while popping a wheelie, he shot her a peace sign while waving. Her mouth hangs agape in her mouth, wait a minute. She kicked a lever at the bottom of her sports bike, zooming forward as more combustion dust went into the engine. She felt heat from the exhausts and steered clear of traffic. Getting closer to him, she saw his bike doing the same thing. Heavy metal music came from hers versus his more punk metal. She heard the song, Divine Music, a punk metal band that recently came onto the new metal scene. Looking at the design on the motorbike, she just called out to him, "Weren't you at Junior's bar nearly 4 nights ago?" Naruto purses his lips into a smile under his helmet. Did Junior send you? No offense, but I like whole Kill Billy thing you got going. Hell no, screw Junior, I just think I remember you. She yelled out while dodging traffic with him. He chuckles a little, remember me? No offense, but I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. How about loser removes their helmet and gives their digits? She calls out while dodging around a car. Naruto thought about it for a moment and then smirks under his helmet. You're on. Sweet. She cheered while dodging another car, I think that was a cop. Screw him, let's ride Dadabeo. He hollered out before speeding up. They briefly occupied the same lane, he looked at her while speeding up. She smirked, doing the same, they did this until both were blazing down the road. Their speedometers were redlining, along with RPM counters, their motorbikes roaring to the top of their mechanical lungs. They both slid into the same exit, white smoke coming from their tires. She whooped and hollered when taking the lead. He just got his bike back up to speed, easily staying the same pace as her. Their speedometers began to redline again. However, the highway they exited on led directly toward the ports. It was nearly a straight shot and the normally busy streets were cleared save for a couple of semi-trucks. He screams out a celebration as his bike began to gain ground against hers. She just leaned forward, slightly standing up make her body much flatter against the motorbike. Come on Bumblebee, you got this girl, just roar out a little faster. She mentally encouraged her bike as they dodged around a semi-truck. She saw him doing the same thing, noting that his focus was solely in front of him. She saw him leaned over the motorbike, noting how his clothes fit his form rather well. It made her blush, but her healthy teenaged imaginations kicked in. Perhaps he had a toned stomach, no six-pack, but toned. Maybe he had a bright smile, for some reason she imagined him with red eyes. Especially if it was same guy from the bar nearly 4 days ago. Both careened down the road, light trails coming from both of their bikes. She smirked, trying to flatten herself more against her bike, cursing the fact that she had been blessed. Meanwhile he was sweating bullets as his RPM meter was redlining constantly and could have sworn that red and blue lights were behind them. He didn't care though. The teenage boy was finding this very much more engaging. Split-second decisions, lights blurring past him, and competition. That's Naruto's go-to drug, and he was reveling in it as he flattens himself more against the bike. Come on, Bumblebee, let's go, Kitsune, faster, 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 go, go, go. Both of them started channeling aura into their motorbikes, both of them grinding their teeth in focus. They swerved right, left, and kept dodging the occasional semi-truck. Both focused forwards, and they felt their eyes watered from the focus. Their bikes topping out, whining from the strain, but still, they drove them forwards. Kitsune's had it 160, she's topped out. Naruto realized as his motorbike began to maintain a steady speed. Damn, I wish I could have won this, but too bad I guess. The young woman next to him stated out loud, Bumblebee's at her limit, 165. Damn, can't be helped then. He replied back to her as they both careened down the road. I'm gonna have to let off before my bike dies on me, Dadabeo. Her eyes widen behind her helmet, she then smiles a little bit before pulling back just a little to stay ahead of him. He was confused, but then just sighed while following behind her toward an exit. They both took the exit leading to the docks. Slowing down just before the sharp turn, they kicked up a cloud of white smoke as they took the turn at the same time. He gave in as she pulled ahead of him, cutting him off from the one-lane entrance into the docks. They slowed more and more, eventually coming to a stop. She got off her bike, cheering, hell yeah, that was the great. Pulling next to her, he just put his kickstand down, you're telling me? I would have had you if I didn't mess up on that exit coming into the straightaway. BFFT, please, you said that your bike had it when we got on the exit, she scoffed while watching blue and red lights blast past them on the highway. Damn, they were really after us, I suppose. He laughs a little, kind of stunned by the number of cars passing by them, yeah, I guess so. She leans against her bike, folding her arms. Okay, well, time to pay up. Damn, thought you would have forgotten, he replied with a small chuckle. She giggles a little bit, sorry about that, but I do have a joke for you. Oh, really, what is it? Naruto inquired as he dug into his pocket. She stretches and tells him, you know the sun is a plumber, right? Because every morning you see the crack of dawn. He laughs while walking over to her, holding out his scroll, alright, what's your number? Nice try there, she stopped him while also pressing a finger in his chest, I never said I'd give you my number. He blushes a little, then sighs with a small smile under his helmet. Grabbing her scroll, much to her surprise, he began to punch in his number and handed her scroll back. She smirked, looking at it, noting that it was a local area Vale code. She watched him inch his way toward his bike, snapping her fingers. Yo, forgetting something, or do you always leave ladies unsatisfied? She teased while noting how rigid he became. Oh, did I say something a little too hot? Naruto just nervously laughs, slowly removing his helmet, his sweat-covered face dripped. His hair was a little bit of mess, his fox ears lightly drooped from sweat. She whistled, noting his azure eyes still shining a little bright. He didn't say anything as she walked around him and then hearing laugh little with a snort. She got back to her motorcycle, leaning on it. Any chance I can see your face? He questioned while watching her. She shook her head, laughing, nope. Of course not, but hey, you never asked me about my name, so what's good is the number? He pointed out with a sly smirk on his face. She taps her chin, rather playfully, I think I'll call you Whiskers, how's that sound? I wonder, are they real? Maybe I should come over there and feel them. He blushes madly, hearing her snort in laughter, I'm just teasing you. Oh, and Foxy wasn't a good choice? Naruto asked while calming himself down. No, that crossed my mind, she admitted while looking him up and down. I just like Whiskers, besides if you play your cards right next time we meet I may touch them. Naruto blushes a little bit more, maybe, why don't you come and do it right now? Oh really, she seductively says while walking toward with a sway, you want me to do it with you right now? His heart pounded as she took off one of her gloves, reaching out to him. He stood there, watching as she got closer toward him with the ungloved hand. He noted that her nails were slightly indented, not pristine, but still for some reason he felt like they had met before. His heart beat against his chest as she reached toward his cheek, but right about the time she would have dodged him, she instead flicked his forehead. Ow. Naruto yelped as he rubbed the red mark forming on his head. I wasn't ready for that, Dadabeo. She laughs while hopping back on her bike. Sorry Whiskers, but I like to play hard to get. Next time, drive a little faster and maybe we'll make the same bet. He wanted to stop her, but he just watched as she careened down the road in her bike. Slightly reaching out to her, with red dusting his cheeks, Naruto bit his lip while seeing her drift around a corner. He tenderly rubs the red mark on his forehead and smiled softly. He walked back toward his motorbike, Kitsune, and sat there for a minute. He held his helmet in his hands, still wearing a goofy smile on his face. For some reason or another, he never activated his aura to heal the red mark. Eventually he just got on his bike, revving its engine up. He blasted down the street, coming onto an exit. He blasted down the road, with visor up, trying to catch a glimpse of her. Instead, all he saw was fresh cars on the highway, semi-trucks, and the occasional motorbike rider. He felt a small pang in his heart, but somehow, he knew he'd see her again. Slowly, he got up to speed, getting ready to head back home. Akahana was up watching TV when her brother walked in. He placed his helmet on nightstand, tossing its keys near it. She smiles, jumping up, "Sup Naru? Hey Aka, why are you up so late?" He questioned while getting out of his jacket. She giggles that very innocent childlike giggle, "I wanna kick your butt in some street kung fu." Oh, Naruto realized and he smiled as she handed him a controller. "I got most of the characters unlocked." Naruto watches as she selects the sumo character, Benji Chaka. He in turn selected the titular character, Renhei Abusa. It wasn't long until both were mashing buttons on their controllers. With Naruto leaning forward as he used the dodge buttons to keep dodging his sister's button mashing tactics. However, she managed to give a hard uppercut which stunned his character. She whooped when her ultimate caught him, watching Benji bear hugged Ren before suplexing him into the ground. The victory animation followed, with Naruto sitting there with eyebrow twitching. He pressed rematch, and his sister smirked as she began to do the same thing. The duo battled back and forth, rather than admit defeat after getting suplexed again. Naruto restarted the match, this time making more progress, but Akahana's button mashing made her attacks unreadable. Eventually she cheered having defeated her brother 3 times in a row. He just sat the controller down, "Screw this game, Dadabeo." "Oh come on, Naru, aren't you always better because you're older?" She commented while slyly grinning to herself. Naruto smiles before looking at their father's picture. "Aka, you know that soon you'll be training with Red Flower." "I know, and when I master it, I'll be coming to kick your butt IRL." She boasted with a bright smile. Naruto nodded as he leaned back into the couch. "Ever thought about what prep academy you want to go to?" "I heard that Signal is really cool," she told almost immediately while looking at the TV. "I think one of my friends said that they knew a sophomore girl getting invited to Beacon." Wow, Naruto was surprised as he thought, that's incredibly young, what 15? "Well, Naru, if I may point out your 17th birthday is 6 weeks away," she reminded while playing her game. Naruto smiles as he felt the secret scroll vibrate. He got it out, pretending that it was his original one. He saw the email getting sent to him. The blonde laid back, putting his feet on the coffee table. He looked toward the door where his bags laid packed. He gazed at Akahana who was enamored in her game. He wanted to tell them, but he was scared how his mother would react. It would be hard to learn that the only reason the family business kept going was because her son pushing himself far beyond what he should be doing. He looked at the email, reading it to himself in his mind. "Hello Mr. Kazunami. My name is Willow Schnee, recently I noticed you had business with husband. I've contacted my daughter, Wise Schnee, and know that you've recently moved to Vale. If your schedule is open, I'd like a portrait of my daughter in full huntsman attire. I'm willing to pay up to 8,000 liens, but understand that if transportation costs will increase the cost. Please contact me as soon as possible. Wise's contact information has been added into pinned documents. I've seen your work and I know that I am making the right choice. Best regards Willow Schnee. Naru." He suddenly snapped out his reading to Akahana's voice, "Where'd you get that bruise on your forehead?" He thought about what she said, then smiles, "Let's just say your big brother was out doing bad things today. You know mom's gonna beat you up one of these days, Dadakane." She complained while huffing and then crossing her arms. "Heh," he chuckled while ruffling her hair, "Aka you'll understand when you're older." She growls at him, "I turn 9 in 2 months, you know." Smiling brightly, Naruto then says, "You're such a little twerp sometimes, Dadabeo." She then did something unexpected and flicks him off, "Well screw you too jerk." He turns white when he felt a presence, both of them turned to see their mother standing in the hallway. A fresh tick mark on her head while growling at them both. "Have you been teaching your sister what that means?" She growled out while walking forward. Naruto got up, holding his arms, "Hey now mom. I didn't do anything and she just went off and flicked me off." Akahana jumped out of the couch, standing up, "Mom he's lying, he told me to say aloud." "Why you little twerp?" Naruto yelled as he felt his mother come closer. Ashina gave them a dark smile, "You may be nearing 17, young man, but..." She got her fist balled up, fire raging in her violet eyes. "I'll teach you to cuss in my house." "Ah!" Both brother and sister screamed as they started running from their mother. "This is your fault, Aka whatever, Naru, you are just a bad influence, what the hell ever, see, mom, get him with the dish soap. You both get back here." She screamed at them. Roaring sun. The pin cat was sitting blonde lilac girl at a small bar. She was drinking a grapefruit soda whilst making small conversation. The blonde was laughing, blushing slightly because she was drinking actual alcohol. The joys of being 17 in a low drinking age country, she truly did get lucky at birth. "So, Sakura, you're from Mistral?" the blonde teenager inquired. She nods her head, sipping her drink, "Yep. I finished average in my combat classes, which is why I'm here at Beacon. I excelled in everything else." "Oh," the blonde stopped drinking, "like what?" "Combat medicine." Sakura proudly proclaimed with flame in her eyes, "I can pretty much heal anything with my semblance, Yang." The FFT, Yang chortled while slurring her speech a little, "That's totes unlikely." Sakura reaches over, grabbing her hand, green aura poured into her. She laughed a little until the alcohol affecting started to go away. She sat there, in her high top chair, just losing the feeling of the sweet sustenance of veil alcohol. She groaned, looking at Sakura, who beamed brightly. Yang groans, sighing, "You just hashed on my mellow." "Nah," Sakura pressed her finger into her chest, "I just saved your life. Besides, I heard your sister is going with you to Beacon, what are you, twins?" "Ah, no, Ruby's just a very talented fighter. Yours truly trained her as such," Yang stated with gusto while pointing a thumb at herself. "I'm her master Borlis, to her Polari." Sakura chuckles, holding out her drink glass, "I wonder if we'll both more people just as interesting." Yang clinks her glass against Sakura's, "Maybe, I know I did today." "Oh, do go on," Sakura pined while slushing her drink around. "I found most Valian men so far boorish." Yang snorts while coughing on her drink, "Hey now, don't be judging my preference on a good time." "Oh, good gods," Sakura blushed while pinching her nose, "was he rude?" Yang stops for a moment and thought, "Actually not really. Tried to smooth talk his way out of our bet." "Bet?" Sakura inquired while looking at her. "Oh, yeah, I just got done racing him about 2 hours ago. He's got a sports bike similar to mine. Mine has the stronger engine, but is peaked out for aerodynamics. The only reason I won is because his is kit build, while mine was from scratch." Yang told Sakura before finishing her drink. Sakura watches as her fellow teenager smiles softly, "He had these soft blue eyes. He's actually that same guy that took down Junior's bar a few nights ago. I actually heard something about that on TV a couple nights, wow, he really took them all on with no weapon?" Sakura questioned, slightly astounded. Yang shook her head, "That was the exaggerated, he actually used their own weapons. You should have been there, he moved so." So Sakura beckoned Yang to continue, "Come on now, spit it out." She blushes a little bit, "I never seen anyone move like him. It's like he was dancing in a way, he methodical, even if it looked chaotic." "Wait," Sakura pointed something out with a sly smirk, "strong fighters turn you on?" Yang rolls her eyes, blushing even more, "Hey, who doesn't like a man who could fight his way out of crowded room?" "Okay, so why did he fight them?" Sakura inquired while getting a fresh drink made. The bombshell thought back and remembers the owner had been harassing his mom, supposedly. "Oh wow, what a creep," Sakura sneered as she got a disgusted look on her face. "I'd beat him up if he mentioned anything about my parents." "Says the average fighter," Yang slyly retorted with smile. "Well, I'd found a way," the pin cat argued before getting her drink. "Besides, I may not be good in melee, but there's a reason why I carry 2 pistols." Yang chuckles while raising her glass, "Barkeep, just a water please." End of episode 3. His alarm went off in the early hours of this glorious August morning. Today was the first official day of him becoming something more than just a trainee huntsman, it was his bright first steps into the true world of being a huntsman. He got up, scratching his behind a little, looking himself in the mirror. His blonde, spiky hair was unkempt. He quickly got a towel from his closet, walking into the hall. On the way out, picking up his scroll and setting a music playlist entitled Morning Routine Beats. Knocking on the bathroom door, he didn't hear anyone in there. Walking in, he set the towel down on the sink. He checks his teeth, brushing them, minding the slightly bigger canines. Flossing, gurgling minty fresh mouthwash, he spat into the sink to see all of the leftover ramen from his teeth was down the drain. Naruto turns the faucet off, getting an electric razor out. He had some stubble growing on his face, which he quickly removed. Unlike his natural top hair, his chin hairs were crimson in color. He always figured that his drapes would be different from what the carpet would look like, and he was correct in that assumption. He frowns a little, slightly imagining himself with a red drake beard as the term came to be known. He cringes a little. If he had red hair, it could possibly work, but not this way. Thinking and moving his chin around, he decides to just go ahead with cutting the entire stubble off. Miniature hairs flew down into the floor, which he would clean up before he left. He looks at his hair while doing so, noting that it was going down his shoulders nowadays. Humming a tune and wafting his hair side to side after shaving, observes the movement of his hair. Wonder if girls think I'm feminine with hair this long. Then again, that one on her motorcycle took my number. He thought to himself while checking himself in the mirror. Maybe I should tan a little, my peachy skin is not exactly something that screams outgoing. Shrugging, he bent over to wipe out the loose hairs, tossing them into the trash can. Placing a piece of toilet paper over them to hide them from Aka, who would have felt a little awkward. He pops his necks, taking off his white t-shirt which he planned to pack up with him and wash at Beacon. Stripping off his orange sweatpants he slept in and fox face boxers. He kicks them toward the door, stepping into the shower. He turns the knob for hot water on, leaving the knob for the cold left alone. Hot, steamy, water cascaded down on him. Sighing in relief, he began to turn around in the shower. Making sure his body was going to get soaked. He reaches for a body wash container, looking at the label. He notes that label read, New Spice. 100% body moisturizer, pine scent. He smells it, pursing his lips and then shrugged while humming. He poured some out onto a shower scrubby and began to lather himself. He sung to himself, moving with a beat, if you want me body. If you think I'm sexy. Come on sugar, let me know. Dun dun na 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 na, he continued while slightly swaying his body in the shower. Yeah, sugar, come on, let me know. For the Namek is uninitiated, the shower was a recording studio, almost a family ritual to sing in it. He nearly slept in fell because he forgot a golden rule. You can sign, you can sway, but never ever more your feet. He caught himself, flipping upside down. He stood up on his hands, waterboarding himself slightly. He rearranged himself upright, securing his footing. He grimaced at his own, cringing at the mistake. Oh, good going, Naruto, almost kill yourself in the shower being an idiot. He silently chided himself while washing the soap off. Reaching over to where the body wash was, he picked up his shampoo and conditioner. He looked at while bopping his head side to side. Another pop song popped up on the feed. He bit his lip while looking at his choices. Strawberry, mango craze, green apple, and lavender and lilac. He shrugged, getting the mango craze shampoo and conditioner. He popped the bottle open, kicking his head while swaying to the music. Closing the bottle, he placed it back on the ledge. Scrubbing his hair vigorously, the yellowish-orange goo turned slightly brown from the dirt in his hair. Then his song switches to one of his favorites and he smiles as he listens. For some reason or another, it made him think of the chick with the motorbike. Her voice sounded familiar for some reason, like he heard it before, but he couldn't place it. Shrugging, he washes his hair off, making sure to clear out all the soap. He turns the shower off and exited while singing. Yes, I like pina coladas and getting lost in the rain. Before grabbing his scroll. Naruto got a bath towel around him, making sure nothing was showing. Cracking open the bathroom door, he saw that nobody was still up. Go figure, since it was about 5 in the morning on a Sunday. Icharaku never opened on Sundays, old traditional family rules, Sundays were family days. His scroll kept playing music as he went into his room. Checking drawers for spare clothing, he found some boxers, picking one and putting it on. Getting a pair of black and orange pants, slipping them on. He walks over to his closet, getting out a blue shirt with long sleeves and a black jacket with his family crest on the back. Reaching down, he got his navy blue open-toed boots, put them after grabbing a pair of black socks from his dresser's counter. He looks himself in the mirror, striking a couple of poses. Satisfied, he walked into the living room. There on the coffee table was his father's katana, Kajutsu Numeru, which he picks up. He felt its weight, taking a deep breath as he tied off on his belt line. He checked his ID, making sure it had his huntsman trainee license, plus his weapon carry permit. All that was left for him to do was get some breakfast. He walks into the kitchen, sitting at the table, grabbing an orange while scouring the cabinets. He found cereal, pouring himself a bowl, and noted the pretty Reed on the box flexing her muscles. She kind of looked like his mother, but definitely her eye color was different. She also wore too much bronze, light colors, but if she was being sponsored then she must be one hell of a fighter. Her and Aiko's favorite cereal. He hummed aloud while thinking. Little weird, but okay. He then heard a yawn, turning around to see Akahana standing there in her rabbit odyssey. She rubs her eyes, walking over to the table, grabbing an orange from the fruit bowl. She used her nails to peel it open, taking a massive chunk of it into her mouth. She looks up at her brother, smiling with bits of orange in her mouth. Naruto walks over to the refrigerator, pulling out some red top milk. He poured some in his bowl, getting a glass out for his sister to enjoy. She places a coaster on the table as he laid the glass down, thanks Naru. Don't mention it, Aka. Hey, quick question, who's this on the cereal box? Naruto inquired while sliding the box over to her. That's Per and Aiko's, duh. Number 1 student from Pharaoh's Academy, top of her class, winner of Veil Junior Tournament. Akahana admonished her brother's lack of knowledge. I bet she can even kick your butt. Naruto smirked while eating the cereal, he stopped for a moment, she can try. Try, are kidding me, Naru, she'd pulverize you. I've seen her fight, she moves like a warrior, his sister commented before taking another bite of her orange. Naruto took a bite out of his orange, swallowing before he replies. Well, unless she's going to Beacon Academy, she'll just have to wait her turn at the Vital Festival next year. Turn, you aren't picking fights already, are you? Akahana asked condescendingly while eyeing her brother. Mom says you always pick fights. I don't pick losing fights, besides my next true fight comes after I get into Beacon. That blonde woman that was with Ospin, she's my opponent. He proudly stated before slurping the milk bowl dry. She pinches the bridge of her nose, why am I not surprised? Well, your big brother's gotta push himself to be stronger, it's for your sake. He replies before finishing off his orange. One day, you're going to become a strong huntress yourself and you'll be picking fights. Akahana rolled her eyes, you don't always have to push yourself, Naru. Mom worries about you, heck I worry about you. I know sis, but that's the thing, the path I'm walking requires me to be strong. You got so many futures ahead of you, heck, even if you choose not to go into the old family tradition of hunting. I just got one ahead of me, and that's to be the greatest huntsman that ever lived. Naruto said softly to his sister, smiling as she just scoffs. You're certainly getting mom's attitude. Ooh, I'm telling, Akahana warns him with a mischievous smile. The FFT, she'll agree with me, unlike little Miss Potty Mouth. Naruto shot back playfully. Who is even teaching what the middle finger means? Akahana blushed a little, just some jerk boy at school, I kind of play pranks on him. Akahana has a crush, he teases with a sing-song voice. What's his name? Not tell you, but Nugget. She firmly states while crossing her arms. Naruto rubs the back of his head, you know there's a chance I may meet him one day. I won't let you scare him away, Akahana boldly declares while growling. Renard isn't a bad person. Naruto chuckles a little bit, Renard, that's a weird name. Shut up, she fusses while blushing. One day I'm going to be called Mrs. Claire de Lune. Naruto stopped for a moment and looked at her, that's an old family title. He's from Atlas. How did you know? Akahana gasped as she looked shocked, blushing madly. Naruto softly smiles before reaching across the table and took her hand into his. She protested a little, but then stopped as she saw some tears fall from his eyes. She looked concerned for a moment, but then realized what today was. She too got a downtrodden on her face. Naru, are you okay? She asked while looking into his eyes. I'm fine sis, it just hurts that I gotta miss you having your first crush, he clarified for her before bringing her into a hug. I'm not used to my baby sister talking about boys yet, so don't grow up too fast on me, Dadabeo. Akahana whimpers with her lips, gripping him tight in the hug, I don't want you to go again. I know, but since I'm in Veil, I can stop in from time to time. Plus, if you ever need me, I promise you I'll always be there to protect you, Naruto comforted her while rubbing her hair. Who knows, I may come home during one of the breaks with a girlfriend. Akahana snickers while wiping away tears, you mean boyfriend, right? Ah, there's my adorable little pain in the butt, Naruto stated before getting up. I got time, perhaps we can play a few games. That's sure, she gets up from the table, Kung Fu Fighters 2. Sure, Akahana, any game that you want to play. Naruto said while getting up from the table. They heard footsteps down the hallways, Kushina looked at her children. She sees Akahana getting the game system in the living room and Naruto standing in the kitchen threshold. She smiles at him, making him smile back nervously, he had hair slicked back a little. As if on cue, the hair's spikes flip up, making him grunt a little in annoyance. Naruto my son, you looked absolutely dashing. She complimented her son while walking over to him. Naruto smiles at the compliment, holding out his arm for a hug, I love you mom. I love you to my little fish cake, she replied before grabbing his cheeks. I remember when you used to have so much baby fat here, hard to believe you're now a young man. Naruto struggles a little bit and started rubbing his cheek when she let go, but still smiling. He then watches her reach around her neck, removing an aquamarine colored necklace. He looked confused, but then realized what it was. Holding his hand out, Naruto tried to stop her, only for her to place it around his wrist. Your father gave that to me. It was our engagement necklace. It was meant to be passed down to our firstborn child so that they would know that we were always with him. Naruto, this necklace represents the bond we share and from love. Kushina told him while gently making the crystal go into his hand, clutching it. One day you'll give it to that special person in your life. Naruto bit his lip, looking up at his mom as he took the necklace. He slowly clicked it around his neck, noting that it was a perfect fit. You don't have to give me this yet, Mom, besides it's not like I plan on falling in love with anyone anytime soon. Naruto reasoned while she merely stood there with a bright smile. Kushina just put a finger in his chest, will you stop trying to talk your way out of this? You've earned it and I know that you'll be feeling lonely. So, while you're wearing that, just know that me and Akka will be standing by you. No matter what, Databane. Mom, Naruto softly spoke while clutching his new necklace, I know you're both always right next to me. Every day, every night, and when I don't feel like I can I just know that you know that I can. Am I making sense? Kushina kissed his forehead, of course you are, son. Naruto rode Kitsune down the street as he saw the streets bustling with life. He noted a rather portly figure running after a taxi. The teen running after the taxi stopped after a minute, kicking a rock. Feeling bad for him, he pulls off to the side. Putting his kickstand down and checking to make sure his ticket for Beacon's blimp was secured. Hey big guy, you alright? Naruto asked while leaning on his handlebar. The portly teen just sighs out, not really, sorry for making scene. Oh, don't worry about it, kind of crappy that your cab just drove off. Where are you headed? I can probably give you a lift. He offered up with a smile. Ah geez, I can't really ask that of you, it's going to be out of the way anyway. He grumbled while rubbing the back of his long mane of brown hair. PFFT, please, I'll have plenty of time. Naruto continued to offer while moving up, come on. The large teen sighs, getting up on the motorcycle. Naruto checked the traffic, making sure to not come into any oncoming traffic. Once he got clear he began to rev his engine, getting up to speed. The large teen pointed at exit, which made Naruto smile since that's where he needed to go as well. By the way man, my name's Naruto, what's yours? He inquired from the bigger teen while shifting into the middle lane. The large teen smiles a little, my name's Choji. Oh neat, that's a cool name, old Mistralian. He asked while dodging a swerving car. Choji nervously clutched Naruto's side, yeah, hey do you know how to drive this thing? Drive it, my good friend, I built this baby. Naruto stated while patting his handlebar. So, I'm probably gonna make you mad. I need to get the blimp station and I really don't have any money to pay you. Choji told him, cringing when he passed a little close to a semi-truck, you don't have another helmet do you? You know, Naruto hums as he thought about it, I really should get a second helmet. Ah geez, my parents are going to kill me, I mean come on I just got out of Mistral to come to Vale. Who could have thunk it, you know? Me, this big all farm boy, getting accepted into Beacon. Choji said while slightly panicking. Naruto raises his head, you're going to Beacon. Yeah, well that's the plan if I survive your driving, the portly teen replied. No offense man, I'm not used to motorcycles. None taken, but this may surprise you, Choji. You actually got lucky, Naruto stated while still dodging traffic. By the way, didn't you have bags? Choji thought for a moment, no, they got sent over to Beacon earlier in the week. Wait, you can send stuff to Beacon? Naruto yelled in surprise. Choji just chuckled a little, well, I got my offer letter about 2 weeks ago. Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Naruto reasoned before getting on an exit. Choji saw the large buildings around him, Vale is huge, much bigger than Arga City. Well, that's because Vale City had the lucky advantage of terrain. We have mountains to the west, we're basically one giant peninsula. He stated in reply before slowly down toward a security gate. Looks like we're here, Choji. What, already? That guy said it would be 50 leans. Choji angrily realized before having fire come into his eyes. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, yeah, you might want to watch that around here. So, Choji watches as they pull up to the security gate, what now? The security officer manning the entrance walked forward. He had a scanner in his hand, but always was wearing body armor. He looked at Naruto, and then to Choji. I need you, the driver, to remove your helmet. The officer ordered. Naruto sighs, removing his helmet before placing it on his handlebar. The officer was then handed his 2 forms of identification, a motor vehicle license, and his Vale ID. He noted the weapon Naruto had on his hip. He eyed him, watching Naruto produce the needed paperwork for carrying a weapon. He nodded, scanning his IDs. Got a specific ticket? The security guard inquired. Naruto handed his ticket to the officer, I need on blimp 1010, flight to Beacon in 1 hour. Right, well let me get your friend ID first. The officer told him before handing him back his ID. Choji got his ID out, handing it to the officer, no weapons on me sir. Okay then, the officer observed the ID, Akamichi your name sounds familiar. Oh yeah, my parents own a couple of country inns in Mistral. We home make everything there, Choji revealed to the officer while rubbing the back of his head nervously. Why does it sound familiar? Oh, I just vacationed in Mistral recently, ate the best damn pork ribs in my life, guess that's your family's inn. I was staying with the missus. The officer complimented before handing Choji back his ID. Thank you very much, Choji thanked the officer before stuffing his ID into his wallet. Where to now? You and your friend need to head to gate 7, the officer directed them. Are planning on taking the motorbike with you? Yeah, Naruto said while looking confused. Kitsune is my baby. Well, there's 100 lien fee on large items, you'll need to fill out the travel form. The officer told Naruto while handing him a form. Just take it to the clerk after signing it and may too have a wonderful flight. Right, gotcha, see you around. Naruto said before him and Choji bolted into the open gate. Choji handed Naruto an ice cream cone while the two sat on a bench inside the lobby. Naruto watched nervously as Kitsune was taken into the blimp. He thought he noticed a familiar black and yellow motorbike getting loaded onto a separate blimp. Weird question, why do you like watermelon and banana ice cream? Choji inquired before licking his cookies and cream swirl. Kind of a bunch of lefts on ice cream flavors. Taking a bite of his, Naruto let it settle before swallowing it. He turns to Choji, small smile on his face, my dad and me used to get them. Oh neat, is he motorcyclist like you? Choji asked before noting the look on his peer's face. Oh crap, I said something didn't I? Naruto shook his head, nothing you could have possibly known, big guy. Well okay then, do you want to talk about it? He inquired from the blonde before taking a huge chunk of his ice cream off. The blonde bit his lip a little, sighing, my father died from blood cancer when I was kid. Oh damn, I'm sorry man, I shouldn't have asked. Choji apologized profusely, sweating slightly from the fact he may have made him upset. Why are you sorry, you've merely asked a question. My dad was a car enthusiast by the way, it's part of the reason why I got into the joy of building Kitsune. Naruto revealed to Choji before taking another bite of his ice cream. Choji smiled while taking another bit of his ice cream. They then noticed a pinkette girl walking through the terminal. She was holding a ticket while looking around. She spotted them and walked over to them. She smiled, introducing herself with a small wave of her hand. Hey there, are you all on flight 1010? She questioned while smiling. Choji was slightly taken aback, but nods, yeah we're on flight 1010. Okay cool, super cool, I'm not late then. She stated before flopping down on the opposite bench. Are you two students as well, future students? Yes. Both Choji and Naruto answered at the same time. She smiles and stretches, awesome, my name is Sakura by the way. Naruto replied before looking at Choji. Choji smiles and extends his hand out, I'm Choji. Dude no way, I guess all four of us are carrying Mistralian names heavy around here. Sakura exclaimed excitedly before looking past Naruto. Four of us, I only see Ga. Naruto shouted while standing up from fear. Holy crap, who the heck are you? The raven-haired teen stood there stone-like while looking at the panicking blonde. He looked towards Sakura and then sighed before walking over to her. He sat down next to her, crossing his legs, his straight sword neatly fitting in the gap of the bench. I'm Sasuk, Sasuk answered Naruto's panicked question. Are you sure you're a student, because if me standing behind you scared you so much, I don't think you'd stand up to a Grim too well. The blonde points a finger at him, I'll have you know that I've fought plenty of Grim. I supremely doubt it, Sasuk retorted before looking at Choji. What about you, fatso? Choji growls out, standing up, I'm not fat, you duck-haired jerk. Sakura looked at Sasuk, why are you so rude? Because I know where I stand, the raven-haired teen replied while looking at all three of them. You were nice to me, so I'm not going to speak ill of you, Sakura. You two, however, look like a couple of wannabes. Sasuk stated while pointing fingers at Naruto and Choji. Naruto growls feeling a tick mark growing on his head, okay you jerk, how about you shut the hell up? I'll beat you into a pulp, Dadabeo. Honestly I'd like to see you try, Sasuk challenged while leaning forward. But I'll just stand behind you again, little kid, and make you drop your ice cream again. Fuck you Naruto growled when he now realized that he had dropped his ice cream. Okay, I'm sorry guys, Sasuk here is kind of a jackass. Only reason why I know him is because we shared a cab together. Seemed nice to me, Sakura apologized while glaring at Sasuk. No reason to be a jerk, you should apologize. Sasuk looked at her, then to them, I'll apologize if they pass the initiation with me. Wait, there's an initiation test. Choji and Sakura asked Sasuk. Sasuk's right, Naruto told them while sitting back down with his arms crossed. Oz said that we'd be getting put to it after arriving at Beacon. Hold up, you two met Ospin, like the Ospin? Sakura questioned both of them incredulously. Sasuk smirks mockingly while looking at Naruto, I thought he only visited students who were top of their class. Where did you go to prep? The Lashin Prep Academy for Huntsmen, Naruto stated while crossing his arms, this time returning the smirk. Top of my class in combat school. Oh, how cute, you get a school primarily for combat. I'm the top student from Iskuro Academy in Vacuo. You got tossed at the Grim as a combat test, if you didn't walk away well, you didn't have to worry about a failing grade too much longer. Sasuk replied with some venom in his voice. I wasn't just a top student in a category, I was the top student. How about we spar? Naruto challenged while shooting sparks between him and Sasuk. Sasuk rolls his eyes, please don't make me laugh, besides I don't think you can keep up with me. The FFT, the blonde insulted with a blow of raspberries, please. I can outpace you any day of the week. I say we fight after the initiation. Sorry I'm already booked up on that day, Ospin and I are going to be fighting. Sasuk told Naruto with a smirk that oozed bravado. Naruto crosses his arm, sneering, so what? I'm fighting Glinda afterwards, and I don't care if I got a broken arm I'm gonna beat you up. How uncouth, are you really from Atlas? Sasuk inquired incredulously while eyeing Naruto. I'm from Vale, and my family doesn't back away from a challenge. I'm not scared of getting my ass kicked twice in one day, the fox Frana said to Sasuk with fire in eyes. The raven-haired youth just sneers, well then I accept your challenge. But fine. Choji looks at Sakura, watching as both Sasuk and Naruto stare each other down, so where are you from? Oh, I'm from Mistral, Sakura told him while feeling the tension in the air growing. I'm assuming you are too. Yeah, 5th generation, so what time does our blimp leave? Choji asked while looking at the clock. Oh, it leaves at 9 o'clock. Sakura told him and then got nervous, why? Choji looked at the clock, his eyes widening. Sakura watched as Choji ran with her, noting Naruto carrying 7 bags toward the blimp. His strut never breaks with Sasuk's. They were just arriving at the nick of time, getting past the gate. They all breathed collectively when entering the blimp, noting the presence of several other students. Naruto took a deep breath, huffing as he let the bags drop. Thank goodness, he said aloud before leaning against the blimp walls. If it wasn't for Choji, we'd missed our flight. Thanks Choji. Choji was heaving a little, yeah don't mention it, will you? Sakura looks at Naruto's bags, why do you have a brown wig? Oh, Naruto kicked the wig into the bag, don't worry about that. Sasuk eyed him with suspicion, maybe he's a crossdresser. Okay, seriously, screw you Naruto cursed at him while raising a middle finger. Choji rolls his eyes, what a band of lovable miscreants we make, eh Sakura? Sakura just nods, smiling as she felt the blimp take off. Roaring sun. Ospin was standing at his bay window, inside of his office. He watched from above as a massive explosion occurred in the courtyard. Instead of panicking, he saw Ruby Rose down below cleaning herself of soot. He sipped his hot cocoa, watching as the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company merely gave Ruby the 3rd degree. Ah, got to love the introduction days. Ospin stated with a raise of his mug. It's not an introduction day without a near-death accident involving dust. Linda walked into his conference room, I guess you're aware that Weiss Schnee almost got blew up by Ruby Rose. Pretty much, say did Ms. Xiao Long request that her motorbike be brought to Beacon? Ospin asked while noticing her unloading the sports bike. Linda looked, pursing her lips, I didn't see it on the forms. Well I will leave it be, for now at least. Ms. Goodwitch have the handouts about general ground rules for Beacon been printed out for the semester? Ospin inquired before taking another sip of hot cocoa. Actually, they both heard a voice, I took care of that already. Ah, yes Kakashi. How are you my friend, ready to gather up your security forces again? The headmaster asked the white-haired man in the mask. Kakashi smiles a little bit under his mask, I've been through each student's files, all but one checked out. Let me guess, Mr. Arcs. Ospin inquired before walking over to his hot cocoa machine. Kakashi crosses his arms, I can have him arrested and removed as soon as he crosses the threshold. Ospin thought for a moment, actually no, Kakashi, I want to see if that arc gene runs strong in him. His family after all supposedly is from the old generations of Mistral Knights. So, the head of security leaned against the wall, just let him slide for now. Unless he becomes a danger to others, yes, for now. Are you aware that we've got several 2nd generation students coming here? Mainly one that may be personal for you Ospin questioned Kakashi while filling up a second cup and walking it over to him. Kakashi took it and pulled his mask down to sip, Minato's firstborn son. Yes, Ospin confirmed as he saw the blimp coming in, did Minato ever tell you why he quit nearly 17 years ago? I always assumed it was because he had cancer, Kakashi reasoned before taking another health drink of hot cocoa. What do you think it was? Ospin bit his lip, his fist clenching slightly, I sent him on a mission 17 years ago to kill a suspected member of Salem's inner circle. I thought he did that. Kakashi asked while finishing his hot cocoa. Minato came back with the head of the one that was hunting Summer at the time. Yes, but my gut is telling me something, and has been for years now. However, it's up to someone else for that record to be set straight. Ospin told Kakashi while observing the blimp on the landing approach. Linda then voices up, the only one who could ever set the record straight is gone, Ospin. Perhaps, but perhaps there is another, he replied softly and then walked over to her. That man was like a son to me, Glinda, and it pained me when he took the experiments easily. He's everything Crow and Raven Braun should have been, Glinda stated while holding her hands behind her back. Perhaps we thought too soon that everything was fine, or that he never really wanted to stop you from fulfilling your dreams of creating a counter to maidens just in case. Ospin took a deep breath, in my rashness, I perhaps flew too high into the sky. My wax wings melted, and yet I flew onward. I could be the very reason why Minato Namikaze didn't live past 24 years young too young. Is that why you tried to dissuade Naruto? Glinda inquired. Ospin took a moment and sighs, I just don't want to be tempted into making a second Minato. Perhaps you let me take reins on this, then, Minato after all took me under his wing. Kakashi suggested while walking over to him. I owe my life to him, perhaps this is the chance I get to repay my debt. Glinda looked at Ospin for approval, and he sighed while nodding. Alright then, Kakashi, you take reins on this. Besides, our young student here leads a double life as an artist. Perhaps you could hint at a place for him to do his work. Ospin hinted as he walked away. Kakashi nods yes sir. Kushina slowly walks toward a grave, she held a blue lily in her hands. Her daughter was back home asleep, she bent down placing the flower onto a grave. A picture of Minato sat on the grave, with him holding up Kushina who was pregnant with Akahana at the time, and Naruto standing by his legs with a bright smile. She cleaned the grave, pouring some alcohol on top of it. The Redeed took a moment to drink some, placing the bottle next to her on the ground. She sat flatly down, looking at him. He did it Minato, she said while picking up his picture. I just hope that we prepared him enough. The woman's normally violet eyes slightly glowed red, I can feel something coming, and I don't know if I'll survive it. However, I just know no matter what our children are going to change this world. I don't care whatever ties I had with her, they're long dead, and I want them to stay dead. It scares me, being here without you because I'm scared, she'll find him. If you're still watching over us, my beloved, please guide our children forward. No matter what, they were always the best reasons we stopped our end of the shadow wars being fought between her and Ospin. I could never lose you to her, and you could never lose me to him, I love you she prayed before kissing his picture deeply. Every time I come here I feel you. Behind a man, who was transparent smiled, he bent down placing an arm on her shoulder. She didn't notice, but his azure eyes sparkled with tears as bent down. Kissing her head. She must have felt it, because the next thing she did was clutch the picture and sob. Minato please just wait for me, just a little longer. Beacon Academy was a castle, not just any castle, but one of magnificence. Its grounds alone covered several dozen acres of land. Her walls separating her from forever full forest stood mighty. A bright brilliant white marble. In the center of her grounds stood the castle herself, Beacon Academy had once been the palace of the old king of Vale. On his deathbed, having sired no legitimate children, he passed this palace down to the newly formed Council of Vale. They had since innovated, renovated, and turned the once mighty place to one of education in the arts of being a huntsman. Naruto and Co. saw it through the windows of their blimp. Forever Full's majestic forest swayed in the breezes below, game ran about nearly uncontested save for the few dark creatures that inherited the land. It's so beautiful, Choji commented as he continued to stare. I wonder how large it is exactly. They all heard a cough, turning toward Sakura, Beacon is the largest huntsman academy in the world. Officially owned by the school, is 57 acres. Which is incredible, considering most of the land is situated in Forever Fall. The grounds itself have a mess hall toward the main body of the center castle, an amphitheater, the CCTRA is situated at the very top of Beacon Academy. No slow speeds here guys. Sakura stated with excitement, practically having stars in her eyes. Naruto hums a little bit, thinking, do they have a pool? The Pincat got out her trusty book, looking into it. Actually no, this guidebook doesn't say anything about a pool. He sighs while leaning against the window, well that's fine I'll just find me a river to cry in. Choji snickers at the comment while looking at the massive structures. He spotted the amphitheater and then saw where there was a plateau near the back of the main castle. He saw dozens of strange pads and could have sworn he saw someone getting launched from one as they passed around the school. Slowly, he and the others felt the blimp starting to descend toward the grounds. In the center of the grounds was a statue of a huntsman, wielding a sword and shield. It stood tall over the main grounds of Beacon Academy as their blimp landed. Gathering his bags, Naruto walks over to his new friend Choji. He held out a bag, smiling. Can you do an old pal a favor and help me with some of my bags? Naruto asked politely with a beaming smile. Choji nods and smiled as he took one of the heavy bags, easily hoisting over his shoulder. Hey, you helped me get here, least I can do is carry a bag or two for you. Oh, you're such a swell guy, Dadabeo. Naruto excitedly stated as he heard the rampart lower. Let's go. Naruto and Choji blasted past Sakura and Sasuk. They got to the cargo hold of blimp 1010, easily getting out Kitsune. Naruto hugged his motorcycle before stuffing some bags in the compartment. He was about to hop on when someone shouted out to him. He turned around, seeing a man with white hair, wearing a mask. Sorry kid, no driving vehicles on grounds. The masked man told them while nonchalantly walking up to it. It's beautiful, but she'll need to be taken to the garage. Wait, hold up, you all have a garage here? Naruto inquired with stars in his eyes. The man nods, sure do kid, students can leave ground via personal equipment if they wish. There'll be a map provided to you if you get past initiation. Okay, well can I just drive it over there? Naruto asked with a small smile, trying to negotiate. The man shook his head again, nope. Sorry kid, but I'll gladly roll her over there. Naruto sighs, stuffing Kitsune's keys into his pocket, well thanks, I guess. Hang on a second, let me get my bags out. Actually, you might be better of leaving those in there, because you only get a dorm after initiation. We'll take them to a storage area until tomorrow. Just make sure they're tagged, the masked man told Naruto and Choji as he got the bike rolling. You can take one bag of essentials with you. Choji rubs the back of his head, I guess I got to follow you then, because my stuff got sent here early, even my weapon. Rule number 1 of a huntsman kid, never leave your weapon out of reach. The masked man warned him lightly as he walked with him. My name is Kakashi Haddock by the way, I'm the head of the security detail in Beacon. Oh, neat, I am sorry if you're taking my bike for me. I can push it to the storage area, really, it's not any trouble to me. Naruto offered up while they walked with him. Kakashi shook his head but gave a closed-eye smile, nah you're fine kid. Had to this earlier with some other future student's bike, she about freaked out. Oh damn, Choji commented as he looked around the grounds. This play is humongous. The security chief laughs at the portly teen's comment. They got to the side area of the castle grounds, trudging along a back path toward the garage. Naruto walks up to a button, pressing it to make a garage door open. It slowly does, the chains clinking together, revealing several vehicles in there. That's when he sees it and smiles brightly. Of all the places, it was her bike here. He watches as Kakashi pulls the bike next to hers and Naruto simply got a blanket out of his bag. Draping it over Kitsune, he nodded at the security chief who walked him out with a bag. Choji meanwhile was looking at several of the vehicles, whistling at the yellow sports bike. He marveled at the craftsmanship of it, noting that Naruto's Kitsune wasn't too different. Save that it was leaner and didn't have the bigger engine. He notes by just looking at it, the yellow sports bike was built from scratch versus the kit-built frame and motor of Naruto's. Kakashi whistled at him to get his attention. Choji wanders out of the garage, hearing it close behind them. The trio walk back toward the main grounds of the campus. Naruto noted that there was a garden out back, with a few herbs, flowers, and even a rose plant growing. He saw several people running by them, all with weapons holstered. They seemed to be moving toward drone flying in the air, with two shoving each other out of the way. It's a tracking and capture exercise, Kakashi explained the strange scene as he watches one of the students barely miss a grab on the drone. The idea is that if you'll be fighting Grim, there's the bigger chance you'll face your fellow man. The drone acts like a criminal escaping. Why are they competing with each other, shouldn't they be working together? Choji inquired as he watched more bump each other out of the way. Naruto noticed that one of them, the very large one, looked familiar. I think I've seen him before, definitely not with them, Kakashi. Do different teams compete during those training games? Absolutely, we like to believe that developing healthy teamwork also means developing healthy rivalry. Not to the point of breaking each other down, but building each other up. It's easy for me to tell you that your combat skills are terrible. But it makes more worth it if I say they are terrible whilst helping you improve. Kakashi answered Naruto whilst explaining the situation. Naruto pounds a fist into his open palm, can't wait to get in on that action. The trio made it back to the main square where Sakura was looking at the statue. She was taking pictures with her scroll, even doing a selfie with it. Sasuk meanwhile was sitting on a bench, admiring some of the scenery. Naruto chose to walk over to him and tried to form a small smile with his hand outstretched with one behind his head scratching it. So, back at the airport we got off to a bad start. I'm Naruto Namikaze, Dadabeo. Naruto reintroduced himself to Sasuk, who merely glanced at him. Sasuk scoffs, not even reaching for his hand, word of advice. I'm not saying this as a pompous ass, but apologizing over words is a sign of weakness. Look, I mean listen, I just want to be the first to apologize. I shouldn't have cursed at you, and my mom would have slapped me upside the head for that. Naruto continued while extending his arm out again. So, once again, I apologize for the airport. Icharaku just glares at him for a moment but sighs, extending his own hand out. Don't mention it ever again, I understand the sentiment about your mother, mine would have done the same. Oh, is she proud that you're here? Naruto asked with a smile but noticed Sasuk frowning. Did I say something stupid? The raven-haired youth shook his head, nothing you could possibly understand. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Naruto conceded as he let go of Sasuk's hand. Can I at least know your last name? Icharaku, the teen replied as sat back on the bench. Now that we're done greeting each other, again. Can I ask to be left in some peace? Frowning, the blonde nods before walking away. Choji and Sakura were conversing amongst each other. Kakashi had disappeared without a trace, leaving him there all by himself. Sighing, Naruto just walks around the courtyard a little. Coming across several more students conversing with each other and finally found his way toward entrance of the castle. His eyes widened as he entered the main building, Beacon Academy. The walls of stained glass windows, lined with pictures of famous huntsmen and huntswomen. Decorated curtains, and the grand hall was lit by chandeliers that hung by iron chains. Electric dust powering their lights, it's there that he noted several people moved about in uniforms. Gathering himself, Naruto nearly ran into a white-haired girl with icy blue eyes. Hey, watch it would you, ugh, can't believe I almost ran into another person today. You got 2 eyes, 4 ears, use them. She yelled at him while he merely turned to face her, only to slightly look down. Naruto raises an eyebrow, I'm sorry, but I wasn't moving. Doesn't matter, geez, just move out of my way. She yelled at him still. Naruto shook his head, nope, not until you say please. Oh, come on, we're not in grade school, you're the one just standing in the middle of the grand hall here. She complained as she crossed her arms. Look, I normally don't get confrontational when meeting new people. But you've one hell of a nasty attitude, Naruto stated back at her while crossing his arms. A simple excuse me, and I'd stepped out of your way. However, here we are, arguing. She just scoffs as she glares back up at him, I'm sorry, there can you please move out of the way? Sure, Naruto stepped aside as he smiled. Why Shni? She looks surprised while stepping past him, she turns to face him. How do you know my name? Who doesn't, Naruto reasoned as she looked past him and into the other students. I mean seriously, you look like your sister Winter. Who the hell are you? Weiss questioned. I'm Naruto, Naruto Namikaze, I lived in Atlas for a couple years while going to the Huntsman Prep Academy there. I guess you fell much shorter than Winter from Shni family tree with that attitude, sheesh. Naruto commented as he stood tall with arms crossed. By the way, Weiss, that spoiled attitude won't win your brownie points with anyone here in Vale. You earn your way. What makes you think I haven't? She growled while glaring up at him. Naruto rolls his eyes, looking at her as if she had grown a second head. Geez, I don't know, yelling at someone for just standing and minding their own business. Weiss just throws her hands up, well I'm sorry okay, now if you don't mind, I'm out of here. Okay, sure, see you around. Naruto said with a false tone of friendliness while secretly flicking her off. Well, there's a spoiled princess and a half. All newcomers please report to the amphitheater outside at once for a special announcement. I repeat, all newcomers please report to the amphitheater. Thank you. The voice of Glinda Goodwitch flooded the halls. Naruto was confused on how until he turns around. Hologram of Glinda made him jump back, pale white slightly, and he had to swipe his hand through her. He found that yes, she was indeed a hologram and didn't seem to notice him swiping through her torso. He hums while craning his head to the side. That's a hologram, never seen one so realistic. Even Atlas didn't have these at the prep academy. He observed in his mind before feeling someone tap on his shoulder. Hey. Hey, a girl with silver eyes greeted him. Do you know by chance where the amphitheater is? Me and my friend John here are trying to find it. Naruto looks up, seeing a blonde with blue slightly waving at him, hello. Oh well, I'm new here myself. Naruto told her while stopping with his actions on the hologram. Sorry, I just never seen one so realistic. It's okay, we're all a little weird anyway. Also, you haven't seen a girl with blonde hair, lilac eyes, and cannons, right? I'm kind of looking for her too, I know it's awkward saying that part, but she always tells me boys only notice one thing at her age, so she continued while blushing a little before extending her hand out anyway, I'm Ruby Rose. Naruto Namikaze, nice to meet ya. Naruto introduced himself with a bright smile while grabbing her hand. Ruby smiles and then held out her arm, would you mind escorting me to the amphitheater? John looks her, hey Ruby, didn't he just say he doesn't know? True, she replied while rubbing her chin. However, 3 heads can't be no worse than 2, even if we don't know where we're going. Or you could just ask, sheesh, your new pups are always so eager to get into trouble. The trio turned around to see a pale woman wearing sunglasses and a bonnet on her head. Sup, hey there chef, whatcha doing at Beacon? Oh, I knew I saw someone familiar, that really big guy chasing the drone. He was with you, Coco, right. Thank you for leaving my sister a tip. Naruto complimented Coco, who just smiled, lowering her sunglasses. That Yatsuhashi, gentle giant, grim killer badass extraordinaire. I'm his team leader, Coco saluted with a two-finger salute and smiled brightly. I'm Team Coffee's one and only Coco Adele. Team Coffee, Naruto questioned as he looked at her confused. Oh, yeah, you all haven't been sent to initiation. Anyway, you'll find out, but come on, I can show you where the amphitheater is. Coco instructed the trio to follow her. They did as they were told, easily weaving through the giant castle. Ruby didn't really mind either because she was merrily in arms of two blonde men, while giggling, imagining what her sister would think. Students gathered under the warm August heat in the amphitheater. Ospin stood on podium, watching as several birds flew over the structure. He smiled when he saw the dozens of newcomers gathering across the lawn, stone pathway, and some even climbing a light pole to just get a better look. No doubt Glinda would be having a talk with them later, safety and all that jazz. When he sees Ruby Rose getting escorted by two blonde gentlemen, he took a double take, noting one of them was Naruto Namikaze. He smiles while thinking to himself, he works quick in making friends. That's good, it means he'll be a good team player. Sasuk isn't among the crowd, but knowing him, he's watching from the back. I see young Belladonna in the back as well. Yang is up front with her friends from Signal, figures I suppose. Per and Iko's, the star student arriving late, she's already profusely apologizing. I don't see Lai Ren or Ms. Valkyrie amongst the number. Perhaps they're hanging somewhere out of sight. Ospin examined the groups, finding the students that interested him the most. Ah yes, there is Waishni, the spoiled heiress. Linda Goodwitch, Kakashi Haddock, and several other key staff stood next to him on the podium. Each with their own individual notes to share, speeches prepared, and words of wisdom no doubt. A gust of wind blew some green leaves amongst the crowd, all of them standing in unison, awaiting Ospin's words. He waits for a few more moments and then nods to himself as he allowed the papers to drop from his hands. A trick he did every year, he watches as some of the students got confused and talked amongst each other. He walks up to the microphone on the podium, clearing his throat to catch their attention. Today is an auspicious day and marks the true beginning of your journey. Most of you here have successfully passed your prep academies, some of you have even faced down the menace we face daily. I salute your pursuit, but I will go ahead and be blunt. Right now, all 200 of you are coming to be rooted out. For today and today only, you'll not allowed any use of our facilities save toiletries, cafeteria, and the grand hall. Ospin paused as he let the information sink before nodding to himself. He continues after a moment, because even though I invited you here individually, I don't recognize you as students just yet. The students began to murmur amongst one another, only to get silenced by Ospin raising his hand. I look upon you all, and I see those proclaiming the will to learn. However, I still need to weed out those who seek growth versus those who seek only glory for themselves. Tomorrow morning, all 200 of you will launch into Forever Fall Forest. You'll be asked to retrieve one of these, Ospin said before holding a chess piece up. 32 pieces, per team of 2. Once launched into the forest, the very first person you lay your eyes upon is your partner. Stopping once again, students began to talk amongst each other. Some of them openly shaking their heads in disagreement with the rule. Most nodded, he places his hands behind his back. Standing regally, like a king would his soldiers before a battle. Perhaps in a former life, Ospin would have been a king. They silent themselves when he held one hand up and smiled when they stopped all in unison. I care not for the glory seekers, those who sought after renown are long buried fools. You shall stand together, or you shall fall. I specifically instructed each of you in the letter to enjoy the time you had left with family, because make no mistake, you will be going against Grim. No one here will help you survive, it's only up to yourself and your teammate to ensure your own survival. Ospin stated as he watched some students pale and knew already most of those who did wouldn't make it. However, if you choose to walk away, simply let Kakashi Haddock here know. We'll arrange for a flight back to the airport tomorrow morning. But my P said, Ms. Goodwitch will now present the rules of this initiation. Follow them as if they were true gospel. The headmaster of Beacon finished with a smile. I pray for you all, because you shall need to go with faith in yourselves tomorrow. Linda stepped up as Ospin steps down. She had her hands held behind her back, looking over the future of Beacon. She saw them all, these newcomers, these children talking amongst each other, more so after the revelation Ospin dropped on them. She prepared her papers, adjusting the microphone. Hello everyone, my name is Glinda Goodwitch. You may call me Ms. Goodwitch, I am your combat and or theory instructor if you make it through this initiation test. The rules of this test are simple. To move on from newcomer status into students, you must acquire one of 32 chess pieces. If you're not so quick with math, that means only 64 of you lot will move forward with us here at Beacon. This means that 68% of you will flunk out after tomorrow morning. This isn't to be harsh, and this is necessary to root out those who belong and those who simply don't. Glinda introduced herself while explaining the first rule about the chess pieces. Some of the students got rowdy, only to get silenced when Glinda cracked her writing crop of the podium. I wasn't finished speaking. In the event that all pieces are acquired, any remaining teams will get an alert via their scroll. At which point you are to evacuate to the nearest safe zone, which will also be marked on your scroll. You are not allowed to fight each other for pieces, any attempts to do so will be met with an automatic disqualification of you and your partner. However, sometimes we see individuals go above and beyond the call during this test. Although it is not an ensured, we will sit down and vote amongst ourselves if these individuals can remain despite failing the chess rule. She told the newcomers while placing her hands behind her back. She eyes them all sternly. Let me repeat that this does not ensure you a place for you. It can ensure that we will do our utmost to get into an academy elsewhere. That's such bullshit. A shout came from the crowd. Everyone turned to see who shouted that out, finding that it was teen with grey hair. His red eyes stared into those Glinda Goodwitch, fire burning in them. It seethed with self-righteous entitlement. He walked forwards, standing in front of the entire class. How can you stand here and say that none of us deserve to be here? We all have fought tooth and nail to be here, did what was asked of us. You'd throw us to the wolves and then state because we can't handle being grouped up with certain people that we aren't worthy of being here. Where do you get the nerve? He demanded as he pointed at Glinda. Glinda smirks as she looked at him. Learn from this individual, ladies and gentlemen. For he is too scared of failure to risk being associated with someone he doesn't know. I'm not afraid, I'll fight you right now. You wanna say I'm scared? I'll just come up there with my flame sword and burn you. He screamed at the professor. The Kashi suddenly emerged from behind, making several prospects back away in shock. Naruto, who had been watching from the middle, was stunned. The man had a knife pointed at the prospect's throat, pressed light against the Adam's apple. The young man just went rigid, as if rigor mortis claimed him whilst still in the world of the living. Excuse me, young man, Kakashi politely said as he looked at Glinda. I believe that threatening a member of faculty is automatic expulsion. He shook as he looks up at Glinda. I'm so sorry. Kakashi, please release the young man, I believe he needs to change his pants. Glinda calmly pointed out, making most of the students there laugh. The young man broke free, running away from the crowd. Glinda waited for everyone to calm down. When they finally went back to being silent, she then continued with her part of the presentation. The second rule of the initiation is that there is a boundary limit. At any point in time, you cross out, you'll be automatically failed. I've seen where students chose to walk away on their own accord. Rest assured we will not discourage you from running. However, we will not send help, it's up to you to fight your way back. Glinda stated as she made a hologram appear over the amphitheater. Student watched as the boundary points lit up in red, elimination zones and such. She let them gaze at it for a few minutes before turning it off. Some had the bright idea of taking pictures with their scrolls. She commended them for that, it gave them an honest leg up. To those that were foolish enough not to do so, she condemned slightly for being naive enough to consider it cheating. The game of survival was never clear-cut, any advantage was fair game. Grimm wouldn't care if you were lost, tried, thirsty, or dying of starvation. They'd just hunt you down, spill your blood, and be rid of you. She then made sure that no students were talking before continuing. Once you acquire the chess piece, you are to immediately evacuate. If you should expire in possession of a chess piece, then your teammate is eliminated as well. In the event that chess piece is destroyed by Grimm, you as the last holder are still considered the holder of the piece. Glinda then glared at them all, and then delivered a very stern warning. If you destroy a chess piece with the intent to play the system, you are expelled and considered persona non grata. Naruto raises his hand, making her point her writing crop at him. Yes, Mr. Namikaze. What the heck does personal non grata mean? Naruto inquired, while butchering what she just said. Someone near him corrected him. Oh, persona non grata. Glinda stood there silently and then chuckles, it means you'll be no longer welcome to any academy. Some students murmured amongst each other, some looking dejected. Yang meanwhile stood there motionless and her head turned behind her to where the direction of his voice came from. She searched the crowd because she knew who that voice belonged to and couldn't believe her luck. Yang, are you okay? Her sister asked silently after having made her way toward the front of the crowd. Yang looks at her sister and replies equally silently, that voice, it belongs to the guy that drives the black motorcycle I raced with. Ruby beams a little, then giggles to herself, I'll introduce him to you later. Okay, well I'm not going to reveal who I am, I like to play my game with him first. She told her sister before turning back around. What do you think of him? He's cute, Ruby replied with a small blush on her face. Him and another escorted me here, holding my arms and all. Why that Sanofa Yang lightly growled as she felt the walls of her game closing on her. What all did you say to him, if anything about me? I said I was looking for you, I mentioned your since you said most boys noticed that about you first, so Ruby saw her sister get bright red, did I say something wrong? Nothing Ruby, nothing at all, furthest he's ever seen me was in the tracksuit I raced him and thanks for throwing that out there, sis. Yang complained lightly while paying attention to Glinda talking. Ruby recoils a little bit, rubbing the back of her head, I'm sorry. You're fine, let's pay attention, Yang directed her while making sure no one heard them talk. Furthermore, any student cheating this initiation test is to be expelled, no matter the circumstances. Glinda concluded before walking off the podium. Kakashi gave everyone a two-finger salute, smiling brightly under his mask. Yo, unlike my two previous colleagues I don't run the educational part of this school. I'll keep this short and very sweet. I run security. It is my job that none of you get hurt by violence inside of these walls. We will not intervene in fist fights, but live fire fights with weapons are a no-go on Beacon's grounds. You may schedule a supervised sparring match with myself to be the judge of the duel. Any attempt to maim, gore, or kill a fellow student authorizes me to come after you with maximum force. If you thought earlier was a fluke, rest assured that there are around 89 people who thought the same thing, and those 89 people made good fertilizer. Kakashi stated with his arms crossed behind his back. He then finishes with saying, I know some of you are recoiling at that. However, I am the end goal of what you will be. A well-oiled machine, a fighter without equal, you'll be huntsman not some fairy tale knight. An elderly woman comes up to the podium as Kakashi walks down, my name is Nalgul, I am the seamstress for Beacon Academy. After your initiation test, you'll come to see me for your uniforms. Your uniforms will be provided to you within 1 week, she told the students while smiling at them. I look forward to providing the best outfits possible to you those who make it in. She steps down before finally, the last man stepped up. He wore a black overcoat, having strange eyes, and stood tall. He was slim, teeth ending protruding canines. He had his jacket bundled up, revealing very little of his face. His arms bared enormous scars running down their lengths. His tall frame stood higher than even what Naruto had seen as Yatsuhashi. Much like my friend, Kakashi, I'll keep this short and sweet. My name is Yatsuga, Jitsuga introduced himself as he looked into the crowd. I see many people here and I feel your emotions. I ask that you find me after passing the initiation exam if you have anything troubling going on in your mind. He places his arms behind his back, much like everyone else did to keep a professional demeanor. There is no shame in admitting that you have something going on in your life that inhibits your full ability. Anger management is my specialty, and I can promise you anything we talk about is fully between us, and I do mean anything. Naruto looked at the giant man, feeling uneasy about him, like something wasn't right with him. He couldn't put his finger on it, but perhaps he was just overthinking it. The man felt cold to him, something he only got the feeling of when around Grim. Although he could never fully explain it, he chalked it up as just part of his developing semblance hopefully at least. Ospin got back up to the stage, with that, you all are dismissed. Go, mingle about, and get some food. Beacon's mess hall was massive, just as large as the Grand Hall. Naruto followed his nose, quite literally to the doors. He was starving, mouthwatering, and saw a plethora of food on a table. Choji was following him close behind, along with the orange-haired girl and her companion. He looked at the table himself, mouthwatering. Holy crap, that's a lot of food, the orange-haired girl's companion commented. Nora. Nora no. Nora, the orange-haired girl sprinted toward a large ham. She didn't care about the sides, she literally tackled it off the table. He groans as she tore into it like a wild animal. Naruto watches as Choji hurried toward the table with a plate and he himself stood by the girl's companion. Man, she must be hungry, Naruto by the way. He greeted the fellow newcomer. The teen nods his head, yes indeed, my name is Lai, but people call me by my surname Ren. Well Ren, come on, this isn't all going to eat itself. Naruto called out as he ran toward the table. I call dibs on any pork. Ren watches as his fellow newcomer snatched several things off the table onto the plates. More students piled in while Naruto finished grabbing his plate. Choji had two in his hands while finding a table for him and Naruto to sit in. The blonde followed, slamming into the seat. He had filled his plate up with meat, anything on the table that had proteins galore. They were joined by Ren, who was directing Nora, they took a seat at their table. Sakura came over toward them, carrying a plate with very little meat save fish, and mostly greens. She sat next to Choji. Naruto was already stuffing his face much like Nora and Choji was. Ren looked at Sakura, shrugging before he consumed some of his chicken salad he had made. Never understood how some people could eat so much but remain so thin. Ren commented on Nora's eating habits along with Naruto's. Hi, my name is Ren. Sakura extended her hand out to where they shook, my name is Sakura. Nora ripped a huge chunk of the ham off before shouting, "I'm Nora everyone." Ren shook his head, but a small smile formed across his face. Naruto consumed a sausage before grabbing another one. Choji was diving into baked beans and ham chunks. Sakura and Ren meanwhile ate like civilized people. They then noticed 3 people approaching them. Sakura nudged Choji toward the wall end of the table. Naruto scooted his north eye bumped back more. He stopped eating, quickly cleaning himself up as their table was joined by 3 newcomers, all of them girls. 2 of them Naruto knew, and he smiled. "Ruby." He greeted her and made sure to clear more of the table off. "Interesting choices of food, I think I see nothing but strawberries on there." Ruby giggles as she sat down, "Well, they're my favorite food." Naruto then turned toward the blonde accompanying. He remembered her from Junior's bar and smiled. "Hey Lilac," Naruto greeted her with a beaming smile, "Small world, isn't it?" Yang kept her cool, sitting down next to her sister, "Sure is I mean Naruto, my sister told me your name." "Oh neat, what's your name then Lilac?" Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Yang chuckles a little before smiling softly, "My name's Yang." He smiles before feeling a little bit of heat in his cheeks, "Have we met before, besides juniors?" "Nope," she lied as a small hint of pink on her cheeks formed. "I don't think we've ever been around each other except a bar." "That sounds so wrong," the girl with a bow on her head commented. "Oh, and hi everyone, I'm Blake." "Hey Blake." Nora slurred with a mouthful of ham, "Nice to meet you." Blake looks at Yang confused, "What did she say?" "I think she said it's nice to meet you." She punned with a smile in her face. Naruto laughs at that a little, "That's a good one." She hid her blush a little, looking at her sister. Ruby merely smirked and then looked at Naruto who had just begun to eat civilized. Sakura pinched her nose, frustrated at how quickly he changed up his eating habits. She noted that Sasuk was sitting in the corner of the room, away from everyone else. She motioned to get up, making Yang, Ruby, and Blake get up so she could get out. Walking over to Sasuk, she sat by him, "Food's better with company, you know." "I'm not interested," Sasuk commented as he watched Naruto banter with the group at the table. "Why don't you go back to that table?" Sakura sighs before sitting next to him, "You know, I would, but I feel bad when I see people alone." "Who said I don't want to be alone?" Sasuk replied while playing with his fish on the plate. "Are you a combat medic or a psychologist?" The pin cat just rolls her eyes, "No, just a decent human being. I see someone alone and I try to be nice to them. Besides, who knows, me and you may be stuck together for 4 years." Sasuk chortles at that, "And then again you could be linked up with the blonde buffoon over there." Still, Sakura chided him while getting comfortable. "You can look at this as practice, for God's sake, at least mingle with someone here." The Ichi had just huffed and bit his lip, "I'm here to train for an opponent that I have to beat on my own." "Okay, now we're getting somewhere, is it a Grim?" Sakura asked. Sasuk shook his head, "No, he's very much human and that's all I'm going to say on the matter." "Well, that was a good start, Sasuk." Sakura complimented him before taking a forkful of her plate into her mouth. He just focuses on his food and then takes a bite. Hours of mingling gave into the nighttime, with the cafeteria closing down. Naruto and Co. found themselves wandering the Great Hall. Sakura was yawning as she carried a pink duffel bag with her. Choji was carrying a gym bag, whilst Naruto actually had a pack. They hadn't seen Sasuk in over a few hours, not since he left the mess hall. Naruto yawned, spotting Ren and Nora near a wall. He noted that the girl was already passed out, with Ren reading a book on aura theory next to her. "I'm not usually one to do this, but I ship them." Naruto thought to himself before nearly running into Yang. "Oh shit, I'm sorry, watch it, why Naruto?" She had a toothbrush in her mouth. Her hair was neatly combed for the night and Naruto stood there looking at her with a blush. Apparently, his hand had accidentally been up before running into her, which may have nudged onto something. She didn't care, hell she found it downright adorable he was trying to play it off. Sakura merely grabbed Choji, marching themselves away from the conversation at hand. Yang saw him gather his thoughts before he sighs. "I'm sorry about that, if my hand touched your you know," Naruto nervously tried to say before blushing and looking away. Yang giggles and just punched him in the arm, "Relax there, buddy. Besides you're cute so I'll let you off lightly this time." "You think I'm cute?" Naruto asked with an ever-increased blush. "Sure do, your ears look adorable, you remind me of a fennec fox." Yang commented as she stared him up and down. "So, I'll make you deal since you got a free touch by accident." "It was an accident." He defended himself but only to stop when he felt her hand on his face. Yeah. "Nope, don't call me my name, I think I lilac a little better," she stated before removing her hand. "By the way, those are some cool tattoos." "Well, that's the thing, they're not," Naruto played off while rubbing the back of his head. "I was born with them, heck even my sister has the same ones. Thank the gods he is a little bit of an airhead because my idiot ass just got my free feel of the whiskers." She thought to herself in the instant before remembering. Wait a minute, that red girl at that dining place had the same whiskers. Yang, did I say something weird? Her fellow blonde inquired while waving his hand in front of her eyes. You look tired, Dadabeo, you should get some sleep. She laughs it off before rubbing her arm a little, you might be right, zoned out for a minute there. See you around, Ru. Ru? Naruto questioned while she turned back to him, why Ru? She merely giggles, because if I'm Lilac, you're going to rue the day meeting me. He blushes when she walks away. For some reason or another, he thought she added a small sway of her hips when she did. It was official for him, he needed sleep, a lot of sleep. Because tomorrow determined if he was truly ready for this, but he smiled clutching where she had rubbed his cheek. I really hope you make it out of there with me. Stupid brain, get with the program. Naruto reminded himself before walking over toward Sakura and Choji. Choji was already out like a light, snoring loudly. Sakura looked at Naruto, she closed her book as he saw down, placing his pack next to a wall. She smiles while watching Yang go over toward a group, you know, Naruto. Something tells me that girl over there likes you. I don't know about that, plus she seems like a tease to me. Naruto replied before laying down and looking up at the ceiling. Hey, Sakura, am I cute? The question caught her off guard, what? You know, cute, like am I cute like a little dog, or am I the other kind of cute? Naruto asked her, looking into her green eyes for honesty. She busts out laughing, you're going to be hopeless my friend. If I gave you a score though, I'd say 7 out of 10. Adding for average? He inquired. Slightly above Naruto, but besides, looks aren't everything. I do have to ask you though, did you really try to cop a free feel on her? That's wrong if you did, Sakura questioned him before crossing her arms. What, no, of course not. I'd never do anything like that. I have a sister back home, Naruto stated before bringing a fist up. I'd knock the daylights out of any guy that would try anything like that with her. Sakura nods, not betraying her stoic look, but then thought about it. She knew he was there, holding his hand up. Did she really put herself in that situation on purpose? She watched as Yang and her group laughed about something. I hope your intentions are honest, because if not that's messed up. She looked at Naruto as he rolled over to shield his eyes from any light. Out of everyone I met, for some reason, I feel like Naruto is a genuinely pure-hearted soul. Roaring sun. Wait a minute, you let him cop a feel? Ruby questioned while looking at her sister. Yang blushes a little before nervously chuckling, not exactly, I was little groggy myself while walking off the meat sweats. Ruby shot her an accusatory glance, I really hope so sis. Ruby, come on, he didn't seem to mind it. Yang countered while laying next to her sister, besides like I said it wasn't really on purpose. Lake stares up from her book, I have a feeling you lied to him earlier. Well, I actually did, because he's a guy I raced and got his number from. Ruby already knows, and she's been rubbing at my face all day because of it. Little twerp, Yang stated before seeing Ruby raising a thumbs up in response. Besides, for some reason, I don't know I just kind of click with him. The bow tie girl thought about what Yang said and smiles a little. I do get it, Yang. However, take it from his perspective, maybe he's energetic, but perhaps he's not actually as flirty as you. I know it sounds weird, but I read romance novels all the time, sometimes people start with an assumption of someone before they actually see the real person that they fall in love with. Blake pointed out before flipping a page. Yang chortles a little bit, love, whoa easy there, girl. I'm not in love, I'm just attracted to him. Normally in Atlas, if someone's attracted to one another, we would have courtship. Weiss brought her 2 cents into it while reading a book of her own. Well, Blake over there says some accurate things, may I remind everyone that she basically reads pornography with plot. Blake blushes a little bit, it's not porn with plot. It's just 2 characters doing what 2 characters do while in love. Still porn, especially if it has pictures in it. Weiss retorted before flipping a page in her book. Ruby perks up at that, did someone say nudity pictures? No Ruby, still too young for that stuff. Yang chided her little sister before laying down. Oh man, really? Ruby grumbled as she relaxed on her bag. Yang took a deep breath, looking over to where Naruto and Co. were sleeping. For some reason now that she thought about it, she felt kind of bad for even letting it happen, she could have stopped it at the last second. She chided herself in her head, but then thought of something. She got her scroll out, checking to see if he was asleep. She brought her contact list and selected whiskers. She typed out a message, putting a heart emoji on it. It was something that didn't directly hint that it was her, but she smiles, nonetheless. After tomorrow, she'd sneak and get motorcycle, perhaps they could race each other around Forever Fall. That would be one hell of a race ya race. What if Naruto x Yang Xiao Long rwby? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.